Happy Friday to you, Coop. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. We
Good,
had a
good.
lot of work to do today.
We did. Let me clear up some of this stuff so it's not bothering me in the background. Yeah, we had a lot of work to do today. It was a lot of music put out today. Kendrick Lamar's birthday today. Um, it would have been Tupac's birthday yesterday. Um, we got new Eminem record. What up, 007? 007 is the first one in the room. Well, actually, shut up. Then Terminator 2, of course, of course. Salute to everybody coming in the room. We got a whole lot to talk about today. As we normally do, I guess we're going to have to say bye to the NBA season because Steph finished them out last night. And you know what? I'll start it out like this, man. I owe Steph Curry an apology, man. Like, he went out there on the road in Boston and he put his foot on their neck. He wouldn't let them win. Even when Al Horford came through with some big shots, every big shot that Boston came with, he made sure, no, that's not happening tonight. So I want to, if I had some Golden State gear, I would wear that today. Actually, I was running around today, and I was going to buy some, but, I got to give credit where credit's due. Incredible dynasty they got going on here, and I'm glad that Steph kind of got that monkey off his back and played like we know he can play in a big time moment. 007 with the super chat. He says, "Let me know when Drake hires back his ghostwriters." Coop, you there? Coop has gone out for a second. Drake album is super trash. Man, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Man there with the super chat says, Jason 100. Turnovers is the worst 2-point field goal percentage in NBA Finals in the last 60 seasons. 75 attempts and 31.6%. That is not a superstar. His ball handling is trash. I agree 100%. JD Free said I'm late. No, you're not late. I think Coop has stalled for a second. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see. Yeah, Coop has dropped out. Let me get Coop back in the room real quick. Get Coop back in the room. And we want y'all to come in the room too. We need people coming in the room because we got a whole lot of new music to talk about today. Eminem dropped his song. We're going to react to that. Excuse me. Coop is offline. Hold on, let me see what's going on with Coop. Y'all bear with us for 1 second. What up, DeCarlo? Carlo's in the building. Y'all just caught me in the middle of my Steph Curry apology. Let's see. Let me try to get Coop one more time so we can carry on the show. All right, here's Coop right here. You back? Huh? Let's see. Coop, you there? All right, cool. I see you now.
Yeah.
Nas the GOAT says, does this finally put Steph above Isaiah Thomas? Coop, are you there for
I was
that
going to
question?
say, no, I'm there. He did a great job of leading the team. I think kudos to him. It's very hard to win 4 rings in the NBA.
It is.
It is. It's hard. This is the first time that you can honestly say, well, he really led this team to a win. That was a team win yesterday, and he was the leader pretty much in all these games. And
he was the engine.
I will tell you this. It's like I don't think he's a better player than Kevin Durant, but I think just if we're talking like accomplishments and all things considered, I would have to slide him a slot ahead of Kevin Durant.
I think this is the thing, right? And any organization that wins multiple championships, and you'll see it even when they go out there and put it on the LP's laughing. Appreciate the super chat, though. Anytime, when they put it on the graphic, right, they got the Lakers and how many they won, Boston and how many they won, and now Golden State has surpassed Chicago with 7, and Chicago's at 6. All of those organizations have really great front offices. It's one thing that, you have a star player. But obviously, Steph is the engine, and he's your star player to work with, and you build everything around that. I think that Kevin Durant actually had that in OKC. I think that the way that they were drafted in OKC and the way the acquisitions that they were making were great. I think that unfortunately, and I hate to say it like this, and you said it in the previous show, just seeing how LeBron has to deal with playing with Westbrook, I think if they would have made a move to unload Westbrook when they could have, and kept James Harden and to some degree, and kept those pieces and had Ibaka, I believe that organization would have formed some sort of a dynasty because they made good moves. I mean, they drafted talents like Westbrook, drafted Ibaka, they drafted Durant, they drafted Harden, and some more. And saying all that to say, though, it is an organization thing, and Steph is a great piece, but he's a recipient of, the fact that he's been dealing with an organization that wants to win. Because, believe it or not, bro, I don't think that every organization wants to win. Look at the Dallas Cowboys and look at, like, the New York Knicks. They're the most valuable organizations in their sport. And the owners, they play a different game. They're playing the game to see who can bring in the most money. That's their championship, right? And let's just keep it real. Let's just say, hypothetically, the Dallas Cowboys went out there and won a championship. Now you got to pay everybody. That gets in the way of your profits. And if you're able to actually be the number one earning team without winning a championship, they're okay with that. But there are organizations that are in place that actually want to win, and Steph is on one of those organizations. And that's awesome, and he's doing what it takes to win. Vincent Hughes with the Super Chat says, is there such a thing as a digital weed plate? That would be the Drake album. Man, y'all really going in on the Drake album. We're going to get to that. DeCarlo says, Mike, his name is Waddell Stephen Curry. Don't ever bring up KD again. Also, Drake is trash. Trash can. And Eminem was mid. Unfortunately, he's rapping too fast. LP says Steph is better than Isaiah Thomas. Coop, the way you said people are in their feelings, well, when they say that reasonable, ready to die is better than life after death, is the way you're holding on to Isaiah Thomas. We got one more super chat. 007 says Steph is getting a 5th ring and another Finals MVP is problematic for LeBron. LeBron's impacted the game, but Steph changed the way that the game is played. There's a difference when you start talking about legacy. LP with another super chat says KD is too passive for his talent, and Westbrook is too headstrong for his. It didn't work because the wrong person was the alpha, had the alpha mentality. It's a lot to unpack there.
I was about to say, can I get a couple minutes? Because between you and the super chats, I took about 5 minutes worth of material that I have to reply to right quick.
Go ahead.
Thank y'all for that. Okay. As far as the Steph and Isaiah thing, I really didn't get appropriate time to answer. I think it's worthy of having a conversation. I think this is one of those things where Steph's accomplishments now is worthy of it matching some of people's eye test. And so on an eye test, I still would tell you that Isaiah is a better player, as in I would still pick him. But Steph does probably deserve to be, at least in serious discussion for people like me who feel like Isaiah is better, ranked as better. When I bring up Isaiah's 21.14 assist a game season, I want people to understand that means he was responsible for literally about 50 points a game directly for an entire season. That's just hard for somebody at his size to do ever. We're probably never going to see that again. And he also has 2 rings in the Finals MVP, and he was the leader of those 2 rings in that Finals MVP. And the only reason that he didn't win MVPs is because, literally people named Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan were either in their primes or ascending into their primes when he was in his. That's the only reason he doesn't have an MVP award. His 21.14 assist a game season is in Bird's back-to-back MVP year.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat. I think Michael Jordan is 4th that year. Magic is 3rd.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. And so, but worth fair conversation. As far as the KD thing, whoever said that KD is too passive for his own talents, you're absolutely right. So let's unpack the KD Steph thing. Steph deserves to be ranked ahead of KD, and not even about the rings and not just about this Finals MVP. It's just evident that he wants it more. And don't we always give it to the person who wants it more? Like KD is clearly the better player, but doesn't it appear that Steph wants and cares about his legacy more as a player than KD does? Doesn't
Let
it
me
feel
ask
that way?
you this. Let me ask you this because I feel like I don't know if we're being prisoner of the moment or whatever, but it feels like we normally always give it to the better player. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that everyone knows that KD is the better player of the two.
Right.
Like if we're drafting a team, you're going to draft KD over Steph. You're gonna draft Giannis over Steph.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
hold on.
and so I don't know if that's fair to say that he's better than
No.
KD when they were on the same team. KD won the Finals MVP twice
No,
and deserved it.
that's fair, but here's how history is going to read it as of right now. It's going to read that in the same era. Here's how the era is going to go. There are three players in this era who are all-time great. That's LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
these are the three all-time great players from this era. For LeBron, obviously, it's about to read like this: all-time NBA leading scorer, went to the finals 10 times,
Mm-hmm.
4 rings, 4 MVPs, 4 finals MVPs, all defensive team like 4 times. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Here's how it reads for Steph Curry: 2 MVPs, 1 finals MVP, 4 rings. You get what I'm saying? Here's how it reads for Kevin Durant: 1 regular season MVP, 2 rings, 2 finals MVPs. You see how his legacy looks in comparison to the other 2 all-time great players of the era? Because there are going to be people who don't get to see it, Mike.
And we got to be honest, though. It's going to look bad on paper in the fact that he was with the
look
Thunder.
A certain type of way.
He was with the Thunder. They had Golden State up 3-1. And you lose that series, and then you go join that team. So, and then that's when you win your championships. And so it's like when you join a team that's 73-9 before you came, and you won 2 championships after that, and then when you left, they won again. It does look bad.
Well, let me say this, and then we can kind of move on from this. What may be the greatest feat of his career is that Oklahoma City Thunder team went to, I believe, 4 or 5 conference finals,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 NBA finals, and should have went to 2, and probably would have won that one had they went to that one that they collapsed 3-1. And when you look at what Russell Westbrook's career has been like since that moment,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it make you marvel at how far Kevin Durant took those teams?
Yeah.
So that may be his biggest achievement. And here's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of, and listen to what I'm saying. For anybody that saw them play, you can't tell me that there's that big of a difference between Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan if you saw them play. But Mike, historically, when we talk about them, because of the opportunities and the positions that Tim Duncan got placed in, because of the organization that he played for,
you're right.
Because of the accolades that he collected. When we talk about Tim Duncan's somewhere in that top 10 conversation, and Kevin Garnett's somewhere in that 15 to 30 conversation.
You're right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right. And
that's how it's going down. And that's how it's going down for Kevin Durant. If he doesn't get him another MVP, ring, and Finals MVP, because right now you can't even say that he's past Bird all time on the small forward list to even say that he's close to LeBron yet, because Bird got 3 straight MVPs and 3 rings and 5 Finals appearances.
I think the only person that sat there and won without a great organization, and I say this respectfully, shout out to my Cleveland people, is LeBron when he won in Cleveland. That's not a great front office. He had to do a lot of that legwork, and really he just kind of put that team on his back. And, Kyrie delivered. And again, it was one of those situations where this team just had 3 number 1 picks in 4 years. So, it's dumb luck at that point. You know what I mean? But for the most part, anybody that wins, it's going to be a great organization. You got the Miami Heat. That's a great organization.
Now, here's what we must remember, too.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant did lead the team to the finals before Steph Curry did, and at a younger age, and ran into a LeBron James team that was better than the team.
Mm-hmm. More experienced.
And wasn't hurt like that team. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, player-wise, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, we putting Steph ahead, but that's just because the accomplishments are distancing themselves enough. But let's not get it twisted. KD took a team to the finals at 23. He played in the finals long before Steph did.
And played well.
And had to play against three top 50 players in Wade, LeBron, and Bosh. And he had Westbrook and Harden who didn't show up. And that's what I'm saying. When you start looking at those things, it's like, oh no, that 23-year-old took that team to the finals. That guy who couldn't shoot, and Harden, look at what Harden's turned into the playoffs. But remember who he was in that finals? It's the same guy. Yeah. So when you look at Kevin Durant at 23, taking that team to the finals, it's like, no, we can't forget some of his early accomplishments. It's just there's not the ring. There's not the accolades. He didn't win MVP that year. You know why he didn't win MVP that year? Because for 3 straight years, he came in second place to LeBron.
Let me get to these super chats real quick. DeCarlo says, if Steph gets 6, LeBron's coming out of that top 3.
I mean, I don't. How about this? If this doesn't inspire LeBron and Kevin Durant to like get their organizational structures together and come back with a vengeance, I don't know what should. Because he is. I mean, I don't consider him to be better than Olajuwon or Kevin Durant, but how can I have them ranked ahead of him? I mean, look at what he's doing. Look at what he just did. Did you see him last night, like in that third quarter?
Yeah.
It wasn't just that he hit the threes; it's when he hit them. Like, no.
How he hit them? Yeah. He wasn't going to let them win in their building.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you have this. And also, too, historically speaking, he's done something, and here's why I'm saying you might be able to put him ahead of Isaiah. Well, he's done something that really only Magic did, and that's really beat Boston at home in the finals to win the ring.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, Isaiah is better, but Steph ranks higher because he has doubled up chips. But Steph's rings with KD, he gets like half of the credit for them.
Right.
The rings are silicone, so the weight of the chips really are like 2 or 2.5 because of the first ring Steph won was a free rep. Injuries happen. All right, another super chat by LP. He says Steph never had multiple 10-point games in the finals like IT. He says that 20-point season is nothing like Steph's 16 seasons, 71-9, unanimous MVP, and 400 plus threes. That's one of the most amazing seasons I've ever seen, period. I would say, I'm going to put this down, that I saw, because I didn't really experience the Jordan season we got MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and the scoring title and all that. I was a little kid. But that Barry Bonds season and this Steph season are 2 of the most amazing seasons I've ever seen in sports. I can't think of one that trumps it. I would say as a team that New England season, but they didn't win the championship. LP with the super chat says, Coop, KD cares more about his field goal percentage than winning. I agree with that. I think that's why he joined Golden State in the first place, because he knew he could get some easy shots.
Well, no. I mean, no, hold on.
Or better shots. He could get better shots than he could get.
No. Stop for a second. No. It's very dangerous to say that he cares about his shooting percentage. He's a shooter. Every shooter is supposed to care about their shooting percentage. The point of the game is to put the ball in the hole as much as possible without missing.
But the point of the game is to win, though, first.
Huh?
The point of the game is to win first.
Oh, I mean, no. I mean, that's what I'm saying. No, he took a team to the finals at 23 with no playoff ball having James Harden and no shooting Russell Westbrook. He obviously cares. It's just, does he care to... How about this? Of all the all-time great players, he appears to care the least is what I'm saying. Steph actually appears to be one of those that cares the most. Like, he cares almost on a... Not on the Kobe Mike level, but something comparable, like on that Shaq Tim Duncan level. Like, yeah,
I think Durant's one of those guys that's just extremely talented. And it's like, he loves playing the game, and he's like, win or lose, I'm still Kevin Durant. I mean, he's even said something to that degree.
I mean, see, here's the thing. It's like, well, here's the thing. Like, Kevin Durant has always been looked at like a top 10 all-time player. Mm-hmm. You all were favored to win the ring this year, mostly because the only other person that's considered to be an all-time top 10 player in this league right now is considered to be a little past his prime this year.
Yeah. DeCarlo with the super chat, he says, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to get through these super chats real quick. He says, Michael, LeBron, Kareem, Bill, Magic, Tim Duncan, Kobe, Shaq, Larry, and Steph. That's the top 10 right now. Mad Max with the super chat says, Coop, Kawhi is an all-time great too. And so is Giannis. And you didn't add KD's 4 scoring titles.
No, KD's 4 scoring titles matter. Yep. But here's what I'm saying, too. This is what I mean. He doesn't care. Do you know that season Carmelo Anthony won the scoring title? Mm-hmm. Like, KD could have just went and took it, but he doesn't have that type of character. And it's like, and winning that scoring title would have put him at 5. which legacy wise would have put him only behind who? Wilt and Jordan.
Yeah.
He's tied with I think it's what, George Gervin and Iverson at third. You feel me?
Yeah.
Even this year, Mike, he could have went and won it at the end.
Yeah, you're right.
LeBron, he was right there. Like, he was literally a tenth of a point behind LeBron. Like, I get why LeBron gave it up. I don't get why you gave it up, though.
LP with the super chat says, this trio did what we thought Miami would do. 007 with the super chat says,
True.
Listen, let's all measure appropriately here. MJ is the Don. During his dominance, it didn't go down like this. Steph is running wild right now. He gets one more, LeBron falls. I can't give LeBron the alpha title. I think LeBron, can we not say that LeBron's just past his prime and we got to give him some sort of credit for being in the game 19, 20 years? Like, he shouldn't be dominating right now.
No, this is what I mean about how Steph is like very like having like a Tim Duncan like career. It's like, well, did everybody pay attention to how Andrew Wiggins played?
Yes, he played great. I know
like,
I did.
He didn't play great. He played like Scottie Pippen. He played like a prime Scottie Pippen, like out of nowhere, like for the first time in his career. Isn't that the best you've ever seen him play consistently in the playoffs?
Well, I don't think I've seen him in the playoffs.
Isn't that the first time you've seen him play consistently? I'm sorry.
He's always playing on them teams where I never get a chance to see Andrew Wiggins
I've seen him play. Like, I've never seen him play like 4 or 5 straight games of good basketball.
Yeah, LP with the super chat says Steph is 6'2". That's more impressive than KD at 6'11". And you know what? If you want to go there, I'll give you that. LP
That's
says,
what I said. We can put him ahead. Yeah.
He says LeBron had a great organization in Miami. Yes, he did. And I didn't say that about Miami. I was talking about Cleveland mostly. He chose to leave. He never got traded to bad front office. He chose those bad front offices.
That's what I was about to say, because I always felt like he should have stayed in Miami. Because think about it. I ain't
going to lie to you. I was shocked when he went from Miami and back to Cleveland.
Think about this. Think about how he's looked the last 3 years and how that Heat team right now has looked the last 3 years.
And see, that's my point. Hold on. That's my point in basketball and all sports, really. Certain organizations, they're going to retool. Miami's going to retool. And, I thought that, first of all, I was shocked that he went back to Cleveland. But when he went back under those circumstances and won, I got it. But when he left Cleveland and went to LA, I was even more shocked. Like, damn, if you were going to do that, you could have stayed in Miami.
You should have went back. No, that was my thing. When he went to LA, I was like, man, you should go back to Miami, because Pat Riley's in Miami.
And Miami love Bron.
You got sway and stature in Miami, and it's a great story in Miami. And Miami's a proven winner, unlike these guys in this current regime in LA is. And here's also how I feel about it. I think he missed out on getting 2 more rings. He got himself 1. I think if he would have went to Miami, he'd have 2. You're telling me if they have Jimmy Butler and all these young horses and all that, even if remember that season LeBron had the groin? Mm-hmm. Oh, he could have sat with that team, came back in the playoffs, they still would have won the ring.
Miami loved LeBron. Like, I remember going to some of those playoff games. I actually went to one of their last home games before he left. I went to Game 7 against the Pacers. And yeah, man, it was love down there. Like I said, I was shocked that he went back to Cleveland. But Cleveland's home, I get that. And the fact that he was able to bring Cleveland a championship, that's special. That is straight up special. That's the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know what I mean? And so, but him leaving there and going to LA, I was like, I don't know where this is going. Mad Max of the Super Chat says, LOL, the Cavs team had 4 straight top 5 draft picks. No, they had 3 number 1s in 4 years.
Yeah, but they blew them all except for Kyrie.
He said that's the NBA helping them to prep for Bron's return. Bron didn't have a great front office, but he had the NBA front office sanctioning everything. Conspiracy theories. I like it. Mad Max also says,
stop that.
Mad Max also says to have Steph top 10 is lazy basketball IQ. He's like number 13. Steph ain't Hakeem or Dr. J. People forget Dr. J was Kobe and Mike before them, and he kept losing to Magic and Kareem. He was packing Bird. We have LP with a super chat.
No. Back up. No. Bird whooped that ass a couple times.
I think he's saying he was blocking Bird. LP with the super chat said Coop against Miami. He cared more about the field goal percentage when he was than scoring to win. Why average 30 at 50% when you can average 40 at 40%? Bird, MJ, Kobe scored to win. Efficiency and field goal percentage. They wanted to win. Nas the GOAT says, question. I know stats matter, but LeBron is in the top 10, but Steph beat LeBron 3 times, while he beat Steph once. So why isn't Steph in the top 10?
That's what we're going to do. This is what I mean. See how history is getting told? He beat LeBron 3 times. No, first of all, a KD-led team beat LeBron twice. Yeah. With Steph playing Scottie Pippen.
Do you guys think that?
And hold on. And the other time it happened, Mike, his 2 next best players were hurt.
Yeah.
So he never
I think the
beat
closest
LeBron
we had,
straight up.
The closest we had to a straight up is when Golden State lost that 3-1 lead. That's the closest Cleveland, Golden State we had straight up.
Like, hold on. Let's not get this twisted.
And Golden State had the better team that year, too.
If you want to put, like, Steph ahead of KD after today, like, I totally understand, and you're well within your rights. He don't want no smoke with LeBron.
No, that's not even a conversation. We saw what that looked like.
We're not having that conversation.
We saw what that looked like. You
remember when he blocked his shots and like, you're going to have to do more, little nigga.
And this is the year.
Like, don't play around.
And this is the amazing year from Steph that we saw. Like, that regular season is one of the greatest and most amazing regular seasons I've ever seen. So we can't say that Steph wasn't there yet.
Oh, hold on, Mike. That 3-1 comeback, like the way LeBron played.
Yeah, man.
That's literally one of the 5 best stretches of basketball ever played. Like,
that's the best finals performance I've ever seen.
I mean,
correct me if I'm wrong. You beat a 73-9 team. You were down 3-1, and you turned it on. It was a unanimous MVP on the other end.
No. Here's what I tell you. Even though I was a kid, and I'm going to say this again, that '93 Suns team, Mike, that Jordan averaged like 42, 43 against. That was the best finals appearance. Like, I remember that. Like, that's the Michael Jordan that I remember is that '93 finals. I remember that Phoenix team.
Well, he's the best player ever.
I don't care what you say. I think they won 65 games that year.
Yeah.
That Phoenix team that won 65 games would wipe the floor with that 73-win Golden State team. And Jordan was busting their ass for 40-something points every night. So it's the second best finals performance I've ever seen, though. But after that one,
well, I'm not going to argue against Jordan. I'm a super fan.
He averaged like 43 points.
007 says, did Drake hire the ghostwriters yet? I'm waiting on it. You know what?
Let's go. Let's get to it.
I want to make sure we got the super chats clear. LP with the super chat says, Steph done more than Hakeem and Dr. J. Not mad at that assessment either. Let's talk about this Drake album. So, in the midst of the NBA Finals.
Hold on.
What's up?
Hakeem's arguably the greatest defensive player of all time.
No one's ever going to catch his blocks.
And so when you're saying that Steph is more accomplished than him, you need to be very, very careful, because I believe Hakeem points per game wise is still ahead of Steph. I believe he has an MVP. I believe he has 2 finals MVPs. I believe he has 2 rings. I believe he has like 10 all defensive teams. I believe he has like 5 first teams, like 5 second teams. Like, watch your tone.
I'm not.
Use your inside voice.
Listen, I'm going to give Steph all the props in the world right now, because I was wrong. He showed up, man. He showed up last night.
We're putting him ahead of KD.
He was the most trusted. He was the most trusted person on the court. Him and Wiggins, but the weight wasn't on Wiggins like it was on Steph, right?
No. Jalen Brown was the second best player in the series. It went Curry, Jalen, Wiggins. We're going to talk about Tatum another day.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, with all that being said, though, I'm not putting Steph ahead of Hakeem. I'm not.
I can't do that. Did you see Hakeem live defensively?
Yeah. I can't do that. And you know what? Like I said, I'm not saying that that's out of the question. But if Steph keeps doing stuff like this, then yeah. But not yet. I can't do it yet.
I mean, to be honest with you, here's what I think of Steph. Hold on, can I say something real quick? Here's what I think of Steph. Like, it's literally going to take KD or Giannis or LeBron to stop him from getting his 5th ring. So it's like these dudes are on the clock because he's about to go get his 5th ring unless they like get their shit all the way together right now.
That's what it feels like. LP says Cleveland was a super team that year. 3 top 5 picks, 2 rookies of the year. JR and Shumpert started for the Knicks. Dubs were drafting.
They started for the Knicks.
None top 5.
Negative. That's not a positive.
No, you know what? I'm just gonna say this, just to be balanced. All of those people you mentioned weren't in the playoffs. All those top picks and rookies of the year that Cleveland had, they weren't a playoff team. And I don't think the Knicks were a playoff team with Shump and JR on the roster. And if they were 8th. I have to go back and look at the stats. Nas the GOAT says, people knock Steph for teaming up with KD, but LeBron couldn't win a finals without a superstar or recruiting other players. So I don't get it. Shaking my head. Man says, the Drake album, female-centric, certified lover boy leftovers. Well, I haven't seen many people that liked it.
That's a good segue.
Bob T, yeah. I'm gonna get to this last one. Bob T says, Coop, Steph led GS scoring while KD played there. He led Golden State in scoring while KD played there. It's problematic calling Steph Scottie Pippen. Steph and KD were both co-stars. Well, no, KD led the team in scoring in the finals.
Hold on, stop. No, he's talking about the regular season. Hold on. You know what Steph also led the team in? Shots. And when he averaged, like, I believe 4 more shots and only 1 more point. So, like,
Nas the GOAT says,
see how history, Mike, you see what I'm talking about, how they try to change history? It's like, no, he took a few more shots, he scored 1 more point, and they're like, he led the team in scoring. It's like, hold on, one guy scored like 25.9, the other guy scored 26.7, the other guy took 3 or 4 more shots. He's supposed to be the greatest shooter of all time, but the other guy's shooting less and averaging literally within like a point.
Nas the GOAT says, let's be honest.
That's why you got to see it live.
Let's be honest. Hakeem only won because MJ retired. That's what Nas the GOAT said.
Let's be honest. Steph only has his first 3 rings because LeBron got hurt in 1 and KD came along for 2. This would be Steph's first ring if there was no KD or LeBron.
Well, you mean Kyrie and Love got hurt?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, LeBron's team got hurt. Like, if LeBron's team doesn't get hurt, and if KD doesn't come to Golden State, this is Steph's first ring. You get what I'm saying? All these what ifs?
This is going to be the last one we're on this one, and we're going to move on. Andre Shashir, shout out to him. He said, is Steph top 10 all time? I can't do that yet, but again, congratulations to Steph. He showed up last night. I'm thinking more around 13 to 15-ish or whatnot, but I'll put my list together. We'll probably put it in the community section, and I will, because I don't want to just say this off the cuff because I know everybody's kind of living prisoner of the moment right now. We're talking about 75 years of NBA basketball, and we're talking about 10 people. Come on. I mean, we can't just throw that around. Mad Max said, laughing my ass off, who the Bulls got to stop Hakeem? Hakeem might have blemished Jordan's record. Jordan on the record of saying they put fear in him. I mean, it was a matchup issue there. I'm not even going to lie. And I'm saying that as a Bulls fan.
I mean, hold on. People do know that during the Bulls' title runs, that the only team with a winning record against them is who?
Houston, yeah.
The Houston Rockets. Yes, sir.
007 says Drake was always overrated. The machine backed him. Okay, we're going to get to the Drake now. Once and for all. Drake. It's about damn time says, that's 2 awful albums in a row. You Drake stans. What excuse y'all got for him now? Okay, this is what they're referring to. Yesterday, Drake said, you know what? I'm going to release a surprise album on Friday. Shut everything down. You know, he's a superstar. Superstars do that. Beyonce actually has got an album planned for next month. That's a whole nother story. So he put the track list out there. And the album is called, Honestly, Nevermind. And, you know, kind of like in Drake fashion, cryptic little post about it. Put the album out. It actually showed up at midnight after the game. Put it on, and I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm listening to it like, okay, here's the singing song, because you know Drake normally does that. Like, let me skip through here. It might be a rap song here. This stuff sounds like some dance music to me. What was your reaction after hearing the album?
What's the name of the album again?
Honestly, Nevermind.
That was my reaction.
So, okay, all right. I think we gotta. There's a lot of places to go here, right? I think everybody is kind of on the same page in the fact that they're not feeling the music, right?
Hold on. I want to
go ahead.
No, I just want to read like what one of my friends who's a music producer texted me today about Drake's album. He said, Coop, he said, when y'all review Drake album on According to Hip Hop, make sure you put this video with it. And then he pulled up the Next Friday video, the I Can't Get Jiggy with This Shit video. And then after that, he was like, because he's light-skinned, he's Jamaican. He's like he's what I like to call one of them heavy D Jamaicans. Like, you don't know he's Jamaican because he's light-skinned. Mm-hmm. And he said, I've already apologized to 3 people today for being light-skinned because of this album.
Well, no. Steph represented for the light-skinned people last night. And
it's a great balance.
Steph and Clay. This album, you know what? And we're going to talk about this other artist in a minute. If you count Logic as light-skinned, Drake couldn't mess them up. Because Logic came through. So, all right, this is my take. And Mad Max with the super chat, he says, LOL, end of an era. Drake dropped some poop. And that interview he did back in 2019 about him, Cole, and K-Dot, who's going to last the next decade, got Cole looking like the GOAT of the era between the 3 of them. Okay, this is the thing, man. There's a lot of rapping going on out there. And I think that Drake is known to be an MC first, or a rapper first. At least that's how y'all hold him, because I never really was that keen on his rapping ability. I think he's all right, but a lot of people put him in the quote-unquote GOAT conversations. I don't know if that's a numbers thing or whatever. There's a lot of rapping going on right now. And for somebody who has a resume that's built on rapping, similar to like you say with Andre, like we don't go to Andre for singing and shit. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is cool when you want to do it. We want to hear you rap. Mm-hmm. And so right now, when everybody's doing all this rapping, I don't know if he's trolling Kendrick because it is Kendrick's birthday. And for him to put out an album on Kendrick's birthday with all this singing, like kind of how Kendrick put out his album on Pusha's birthday, and coincidentally my birthday as well. I don't know if that's like some industry shit, but either way, we're gonna have
petty levels are high.
Huh?
The petty levels are high. I told you.
Well, Drake's the most subliminal MC ever.
These guys,
he got Jay-Z beat. He's the most subliminal rapper of all time.
Artists in all genres are emotional. Period. And they do petty stuff all the time. And this is part of it. It's like, oh, whose birthday is it? It's like, yeah, they gonna be talking about me on this nigga birthday. Let's try.
Right, exactly. And you know what? He even had some video footage of him talking about the fact that people were clowning this album. He was like, y'all don't get it yet? It's okay. Whatever. He knows this ain't it. He knows this ain't
song. Look, you want to know what the most disappointing part of the album is? It's the fact that on the last song, he actually makes a rap song.
And it's good.
And it's actually a pretty damn good rap song.
And his verse is good on there, too.
And he's actually snapping on there.
He is.
And
that makes me feel like, you know what, were you just not trying?
And you literally ask yourself, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, the high notes on there were laughable.
Because this
and I'm not talking about high notes and highlights. Vocal high notes.
Like, this isn't the Love Below. There's no She Lives in My Lap on here.
No, there's no Hey Y'all, there's no Roses.
There's no Spread.
No.
There's no Vibrate.
No.
Where the hell is Vibrate?
Man says Logic, Kevin Gates, West Side Boogie's albums are better. It was so much music that came out today. The Snoop Dogg and all that stuff was better too. Okay. I don't know if this was more of a
everything was better.
I don't know if this was more of a disruptor thing, but again, I'm not a huge Drake fan like that, and I've been very vocal on this show that I feel that Drake has leaned on Future and even Young Thug over the past couple of years. And,
well, he won't be doing that.
But I'm just saying, when Future's not involved, a Thug's not involved, he had 21 on here. That's another person that's a constant collaborator with him, it seems like, to make certain edge-type records. You know what I mean? Like, whenever they want to take something from Memphis or something, it's like 21's there. Like, I don't know if y'all heard the Playa Fly sample in there, but sampling Playa Fly Just Awaken Shaking. And it's like every time, it's kind of like, it's predictable at this point. Whenever you go to Memphis route, 21's on there. Like, they need to make a project together or something, because I don't know, man. I just don't know. I mean, did he use up all his rap writing on the Jack Harlow album or something? Because he wrote that Jack Harlow album. I don't care what anybody says.
Look here.
Mad Max says, Drake was trolling us and K-Dot. Laughing my ass off. He's mocking him. LP says, both Drake and M need a traditional hip-hop album. We're going to get to Eminem. Rakashah says, if MJ's Bulls played in this era, they would have like 10 to 15 chips in a row. MJ would average 40 to 45 points a game. No hand check, open lanes, unlike tackle NBA era.
No, I think, hold on. So here's what people have to realize. If LeBron made Golden State go get KD, Mike would make LeBron go get KD. You feel what I'm saying? Like, hold on. We got to do something about this, nigga. You and me. Nobody else can do anything unless you and me go get this guy. So that's all we would get.
Mike would clown them forever for it, too. They probably wouldn't do it.
No. It'd be like a Wilt Chamberlain situation. It would just be in reverse. See, people don't understand. Wilt Chamberlain walked into a situation where Bill Russell and the Boston Celtics were already set up to beat that ass.
Yeah.
Mike being here would be a situation where people would be totally rethinking the way that they play basketball to try to beat him. Boston didn't have to do that because they had Bill Russell. They was like, no. We need to do what we do and trust Bill and play defense.
DJ Bruce Almighty says, the crazy part is he'll still go number one. That's why later in history, you have to take a close look at the numbers. Yeah, I mean, I honestly do think that this was just the album that he threw out. I don't think this was anything serious.
This got to be this got to be like on some lost tapes.
Brooklyn Medina says, do y'all even like women? What does that have to do with anything? I think women dislike the album.
Disrespectful. Hold on.
No, somebody said, what is a woman?
Hold on. All jokes aside, when you say that, it's like, that's how I know that you don't follow us. Like, we're one of the most progressive, like, hip-hop media channels and outlets that actually, like, talk about spaces for women in a viable way and talk about the misogyny and the misgivings in hip-hop that make the space uncomfortable for women. We actually are formulating a staff where there are, like, women on them, and not because we need women on staff, it's because they're the most talented people that need to be on staff. So you need to watch who you're talking to and check your facts.
Yeah, we love women. But I don't know if that was directed towards the type of, Drake like music. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, what I like, and this show is based on hip hop, I like when people rap, right? And when people are ranked very high on the rap food chain, I expect you to hold that up. And especially when there's a whole lot of rapping going on. And so what needs to happen in hip-hop, and respectfully, if rappers aren't holding up their title on the mic as MCs, then they need to be docked for that in ranking. And we need to appreciate somebody like a J. Cole who's out here spitting on everything. J. Cole and Drake aren't even in I never thought they were really in the same league anyway, but there's really no argument right now.
They don't shoot at the same basket. The quote Ho.
No.
Remember Already Home? Not in the same league. Don't shoot at the same basket. Yeah, they're not shooting at the same basket.
I mean, how would you guys feel? And again, and I kind of correlate this to the whole ghostwriting type of conversation. People didn't really care that much when Drake got caught with a ghostwriter. But how would you feel if Kendrick Lamar had a ghostwriter to Pimp a Butterfly?
Be mortified.
You would be mortified because you take him serious as a lyricist, especially even with Mr. Morale. Let's just say he had. You know what? Let me say this. What if Kendrick went out there and made an album like this one? What if Mr. Morale was Kendrick out here singing over some dance groove beats? Y'all be okay with that? You know what? Again, I think these double standards when it comes to Drake, maybe because of his overall pop stardom, but I think for me, it reflects how seriously people take him as an MC.
How serious do they take him?
Not that serious.
Right.
You know, I mean, it don't. I mean, it is what it is. And I hate to say this too, because even when we look at a lot of female MCs, people see nothing wrong with the possibility of them having a ghostwriter. And a lot of times, unfortunately, people will assume that a female MC has a ghostwriter, and they're okay with that. And it's like, you don't take that person seriously as an MC, because again, if somebody came out saying that they wrote anything for Jay-Z, oh, he's a fraud, this, that, and the third. My biggest example.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. That's not true, because we know that he's stolen tons of rhymes from everybody in state property and made them into songs, and we still haven't knocked his all-time ranking as an MC, because we know that even though he did that, he is the type of caliber of MC that can make the stuff that is on Reasonable Doubt and on Volume 1 and on Volume 2 before those guys ever came along. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like, even if you wanted to say Hov was cheating, it's kind of like that whole Barry Bonds steroids thing. It's like, did you see the guy before, though? The guy before won a couple of MVP awards, some gold gloves. Like, you know what I mean? He's still a Hall of Famer before. So we don't dock him for it. The thing with Drake is that Drake's never considered to be in that spirit of lyricism. Like, I just watched one of the videos you chopped up where you talked about that third best verse of all time, and we just ended up just impromptu going through a lot of Jay's verses.
You know what? I thought about that, and I got a new verse, and I know what verse I think is the greatest third verse of all time.
Okay, hold on.
It's Scarface's verse on Mind Playing Tricks.
Hold on, what did you say?
Scarface's verse on Mind Playing Tricks is the greatest third verse of all time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me finish my
Go ahead.
before I say this. But no, that's an excellent choice, though, Mike.
Yeah.
Great thought.
It's one of the greatest.
Excellent thought. Drake doesn't inspire on a level that when we're having those conversations, that his name even gets thought of being mentioned.
Even in this era.
You and I, hold on, listen. This is what I mean about how there's levels to this. When Jay says on Already Home, we're not in the same league, don't shoot at the same basket. Well, we just unraveled some all-time great Jay third verses just because we jumped down a rabbit hole. It's like, well, that dude got he got 5 or 10, because he's got it like that as an MC. Drake doesn't have it like that as an MC. And so when he drops a project like this, in the rap community, because he doesn't have it like that as an MC.
Like I said, you're right. And I think that for people who don't see anything wrong with it, I think that's a knock of where people view him as an MC. This is Forever 21 type music. This is stuff that you hear when you walk in Express.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? It's that elevator shopping mall music.
Hold on. Is this like you remember like that late seasons of the Cosby Show where he's like, "This is the best elevator music I ever heard."
DJ Bruce Almighty with the super chat says, there's a video on YouTube of Scarface admitting that Jay-Z wrote a whole song for him. He said, killed it so bad that he didn't use it. Well, that's the other thing about Jay. And, it's like, and I'll give this to Drake too. He writes for others as well, but Jay-Z, has written some great songs for other people.
That's what I mean. It's like, no, I can't. I told you, objectively, I still have him at number 2.
Yeah.
And on a bad day, objectively, I have him at number 3, because sometimes I just jump in that Rakim hole and I go listen to his songs. I'm like, man, that's the best MC ever. But, but he's right there. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Drake's not even thought of on that type of level. It's like Jay's in a whole nother stratosphere.
Because if we talk about the best, let's just say we talk about like the best rap verses over the past 10 years, does any of Drake's verses come up?
I told you. I told you. You want to know what? To be honest with you, I think his best verses were actually 0 to 100 and back to back. Were both of those in the last 10 years? Because I feel like 0 to 100 might have been 2012, and depending on when that was like 2012, that might be expired.
No, that was like 2013, I think. No, it was 14. It was 14. Craig Smith with the super chat says, I haven't been able to listen to a full Drake project since If You're Reading This It's Too Late. He gets a pass for anything. Dude is cheating hip hop. He's not even really doing hip hop right now. Like I said, I think we talked about this when we were talking about Certified Lover Boy, which I think might be the most complete project that he's put together rap wise in a minute. But that's was dominated by his features.
That's terrible. That's terrible that you're saying that.
It is what it is. The Truest says Nas admits that Jungle wrote for him on Stillmatic. Do you really believe that Jungle wrote for Nas? What songs?
Okay.
Jungle wrote Rewind. That's breaking news here. Jungle wrote Rewind.
I was actually about to say he wrote Ether, right?
Right.
Or the intro, The Blood of a Slave, Heart of a King. Definitely sounds like Jungle's bars.
You know, I say that respectfully, and I'm sure he would laugh at that notion too. I mean, that's like saying that Memphis Bleak wrote Dead Presidents 2 or something.
He wrote One Mic.
Yeah, that's what Jungle wrote. Yeah, Jungle wrote One Mic.
Jungle wrote One Mic.
Okay.
And Bleak wrote Can I Live?
Right. Okay, man, look. This Drake album, I don't even feel comfortable rating it. It's not even a rap album. And I think that at this point...
How about this?
You've talked about this too. He's been dropping duds for a minute, and I don't know if the numbers are masking it, but he hasn't really. Somebody said something in the super chat. He hadn't put out anything viable like that since If You're Reading This It's Too Late. He didn't even write that.
Can we just go back to the same sentiment that I've been expressing? Since this whole Quentin Miller exposure deal, tell me what his music has sounded like.
You're right.
It's very problematic.
What do you think Pusha T felt like listening to that album last night?
Well, hold on, but that's where I was about to go. And because I've been a Pusha T fan, and because everybody knows I'm such a Pusha T fan, for the entirety of the time that I've been saying this, everybody's like, oh, but Coop, you hating because you love Pusha T and you love the Clips and you're from North Carolina and they're from Virginia and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, no, he's just better and he's more original. And we don't know what this guy sounds like when this other guy's not writing stuff. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done great stuff, but I'm going to go back to what Kevin Garnett said. It's like about those jumps in the knees and how you only got so many jumps in your knees. He did a lot of work for Wayne and Nicki and Young Money, like early on from like 08 to like 12. He did a lot of hook work, a lot of bar work. You only have but so many quality jumps in your knees where you can go get like 12 to 15 rebounds a game. And when you become a 5-6 rebound guy and it's like you're supposed to be playing power forward, well, you're obviously not the same player. And I'm just saying, I don't know if we've been dealing with the same player since this Quentin Miller thing. And guess what? We have evidence.
Well, there's another project on deck, too, that we're not talking about.
We got evidence.
Jack Harlow is his Morris Day. That was a whack project, too. And if he wrote that, which I tend to believe he wrote a lot of that project, that's another dud. 007 with the super chat says, careful what y'all hear or read. Jungle wrote the first line on One Mic, and Nas took it from there. Stop reaching, people. If Nas or any credible rapper had ghostwriters, it would have came out right now. Stop it.
So hold on. So let's go to this right quick. People don't understand how a studio process works. Mm-hmm. Pharrell often talks about, well, not often, but one time talked about how he fed Buster a couple of bars on Pass the Cavassier. Yeah.
I talked about that last episode. Pharrell's notorious for doing that.
Right. Hold on. Listen, if you want to go back to Nas, Cormega fed Nas a bar on Affirmative Action. The I'll Be Flooded with Ice so Hellfire Can't Scorch Me. That's Cormega, actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't write the... You get what I'm saying? That happens when you're in the studio with people who are talented and you're working. People will tell you, it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't say that or say it like this. Be like, no, I got this for you. Say that. And be like, hold on. And then you put what you have with what they tell you to say, and it works. And then you go back into your shit and you keep going. Nobody gets ghostwriting credit for that. That's not writing somebody else's song. That's the creative process that comes with being in the yo.
Anybody being a creative anyway, they're going to ask other people's opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put anything together, you're going to be like, yo, what do you think of this? And if the person is close to you and honest and knows you and knows what you can do, they'll be like, you know what, maybe you should do it like this. And if you take that, that doesn't mean that somebody wrote something for you.
Right. Like, hold on. You and I have talked about how about this? Mike and I for the last 2 weeks have sat in the office space and keep forgetting to take a picture to show it. About like creatively how we want to be able to sit in the boardroom and show people what we're doing and how we're rating and ranking stuff live so people can see it and audit it live. So that these conversations and these questions don't come in, because guess what? People want evidence. We're auditing Rolling Stone about that top 200 because it's like, hold on, what you do? How you come up with that? Where? What's your scale?
Show
That's
your
why
work.
we're doing MC rankings. That's why we're making lists. It's because it's like, well, who's auditing this? How'd you come up with that? Who are these people in this picture? Why are there mostly white people in the picture in a black genre?
Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
Or a genre of people of color created. It was created in New York. So let's say people of color created it. All I'm saying is when people of color create something and it's not like even 50 years old yet, and they're creating a panel of people that are considered to be experts of it, and that panel of people, 50% of it isn't even people of color.
But see, even on top of that,
some evidence. Yeah, we lacking some evidence.
Even on top of that, though, at least for the people that are in those pictures, prove to the people that you know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just throw anybody on ESPN or CNN and just have them out there talking. They got to know what they're talking about. And see, the people who write these articles, they don't ever have to prove that they know the hip hop that they're talking about.
Look here. ESPN, though, has had black people be the faces of their networks in the 90s and in the 2000s. Stuart Scott, Stephen A. Smith. You get what I'm saying? Like, because like they understand it. They got evidence. I want to ask them.
333 says Drake's best raps were after the Meek Mill beef. Did not disturb diplomatic immunity. Can't have everything. But wasn't that around the If You're Reading This It's Too Late time? Because I think that
right before.
Was it right before? Okay.
I feel like that's right
so
before.
Yeah, that's questionable right pen stuff, guys. I mean, I hate to admit that, but it's like, look, let's just say that I made some dope projects or whatever, and then the best me was in this one period, and then we found out somebody was writing that, and then I fall off a cliff after that. What are you going to think? Marquez Davis with the super chat. Appreciate the love. He says, this is why I tell people to appreciate J. Cole. You may think that he's boring and blah, 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 but I never walk away from J. Cole albums like, what the hell is this? Drake has been giving me that kind of vibe for a long time. I think that's a valid point.
No, so I will agree with that, because here's how I feel is that, like, I guess with J. Cole, it's like, well, why don't you give me more 4.5s? Why are you giving me 3.5s? But on a day like today, it's like, well, give me KOD, which I think is a 3.5. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, no, give me that over this every day. Every single day.
Well, let me ask you this, because I think the consensus is that people really didn't like this album and we'll move on.
Well, it's not good.
Yeah. Do you think that he genuinely do you think he was trolling putting this out?
Might have been, but here's what I'm trying to get people to understand is that, like, okay, what separates the goods from the greats, from the all-time greats, sometimes is the longevity at which you do it. When you look at somebody.
Where do you have Drake ranked all time?
This is what I'm talking about. Well, when was he great? Because it's like he was really only great to me from about, like, what, 2008 to 12? He had about how think about this. This is a very, and I realized this when we were making when I was making that greatest albums list.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very expansive field with a lot of people that have had a lot of all-star seasons, Mike.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Like now his all-star seasons are like, you know, he's very Grant Hillish to me, and I say that as a Duke fan. It's like, well, man, his best. It's like, well, he's a first or second All NBA player. It's like, but how long was he that player? Well, he's only that player for about 4 or 5 seasons, and it's like, well, I can think of about 50 guys who were that same player for longer, so he's not going to make this top 50 or 75 list because of that. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what it kind of starting to look like and feel like to me, because if you go post Quentin Miller, that's what it looks like. And so it looks like his best jumps and his best stuff, and not saying he didn't write his best stuff and do his best stuff. Mike, he gave a lot of hook work to this industry.
He did. Now I give him that. I will give him
He
that.
gave
I
a
think
lot of work out. That's what I'm saying is about. It's like, well, no. How about this? He probably gave out about 10 years worth of material in about 3 or 4 years.
Man says, stop it, Coop. 4 minimum throughout J. Cole's releases. This is my problem.
No, you stop that. You stop that.
This is my problem with Drake on an all-time type of, I guess, list or format. I don't have those moments when all right, let's just say he's been on top, right? He's the number 1 selling rapper. He's probably the most popular rapper possibly ever, one of them, musically, because anything that he does charts, any features he does charts, is all number 1 stuff. He has all kind of Billboard records. But I never really saw a moment where it was like he was dominating people on the mic. Like, you remember when Jay, even during the Blueprint 2, it's like 7 straight summers, critics might not admit it, but nobody in rap did it quite like I did it. You did it, I done it before, you get it, I had it, got mad at it and don't want it no more. And that comes from everything from flipping that roll, flipping horse, flipping vocal cords, don't get it twisted, get it right, did it better, did it different, did it nice, did the impossible, then did it twice. Like, I don't get those moments from somebody that was supposed to be so dominant. You know what I'm saying? And we hear some of that stuff from Cole. We hear some of that stuff from Kendrick.
That's what.
Because, and I say those two because those are the 3 that people always seem to mention when they talk about, you know, their respected era.
That's what I keep talking about when I keep talking about, like, well, how do these seasons that you have stack up? That's what I mean. It's like, it'd be different. It's like, well, Jay got a lot of first team seasons where he made like first team or like 1 MVP. And it's like the competition was like Nas, DMX, Big Pun, you know,
at their height.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah,
that's different. And if you look at his peak, it's like, and that's what I mean. It's like, no, he did a lot, but it's like, how about this? How long do you think Moses Malone was dominant?
Yeah, that was a good, 5 years maybe? 5, 6?
Right. And do you ever
Moses
really
came
think
out of high school.
Hold on. And although he won a couple of MVPs, did you ever get the impression that he was better than Bird or Magic or Kareem or even Dr. J when they played on the same team? Even though he was the driving force before those teams and Dr. J was older, didn't you still feel like when Dr. J showed up and was healthy, he was better than Moses?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Drake's run. It's like, no, you was the man. Like, you had a good run, but it's like, if you look at the other players, it's like, nah. Like, Cole is, Cole and Kendrick are Magic and Bird. You're playing in the era with those guys. You know what I'm saying?
I guess it depends on who you ask because he's so popular. That's the thing that shifts this whole thing is the fact that radio's on his side and he's one of the last artists to come from that traditional era of releasing artists. So when he came out, radio was heavy and radio was important. Television was important still. It was at the very end, but with that being said, he makes radio records and that's what separates him from Kendrick and Cole, who don't really make radio records. Mad Max with the super chat says, the best rap verses Drake had in recent memory is Diplomatic Immunity. Amaretta and that first verse on Survival. My Mount Rushmore is me with 4 different expressions. Who gave this much return on investment? He got some lines. I'll give him that. Inspector says some stuff. Inspector says a lot of Drake's albums sound alike. Exactly the same. Excuse me. He's been lackluster for about 5 years. I think that's about right. About 5, yeah.
I think it's closer to 7.
It might be a little closer to 7 because if you're reading this, it's too late. Was what 2015?
It's definitely been 6 then.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of his most clever bars was what was that, 4 a.m. in Calabasas, where he went at the whole Chris Brown thing, where he was like, you know me as a Chris bottle sender,
Sipper. Right.
check picker
See,
upper.
this is what I mean. You want to
That
know
was
what he's
dope.
missing? And this is what I mean about when I say that I like back to back and I like 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
He says real things that the black community can relate to on those songs. Like, remember on the bar where he's talking about his father not showing up? I don't even remember how the bar goes. He ain't show up. Valuable lesson, I had to grow up.
Yeah.
It's like when he talks like that, it's like, oh, that's a relate to the struggle bar that you usually don't share. When he's on back to back and he goes, you getting bodied by a singer nigga, it's like, oh, you know what the streets say about you.
Yeah.
But it's valuable that you know that, and valuable that you're able to take it and flip it in a witty way. And those are the moments that he's really missing, Mike, that we haven't seen.
I agree.
He's missing those moments where he's doing those things right there.
I'm looking up some bars. I'm listening to you, but no, I agree with you. And
no, look up the bars. I'm just saying those are things that connects you to your audience in the community. Because like I said, no matter what people try to do or where people go, this is always going to evolve and revolve in the streets first. And you need that credibility. And when you say stuff like that on back to back, it gives you credibility. Like all that stuff he was saying about him and Nicki, it came true. Because it's like, no, I know how this industry go, nigga, and I'm about to break you down on record.
He got some inside information.
Yeah, he got inside information. Is that
you know what? I will say that,
a
man.
world tour or your girl tour? This ain't what you mean when she told you to open up more. This ain't what you mean when she told you to open up more. Oh, he talking like a nigga from the block now.
You know, I know people are a lot nicer now, and you know, we don't do those things in hip hop now, where if somebody loses a battle, their career is over. But let's keep it real, man. Meek's career has not been the same since back to back.
No, oh no.
Back to back got those memorable lines, man. It's been what do you say? It's been 7 days, nigga. Where y'all at?
I don't look at Meek the same after back to back.
How could you? He's supposed to be the battle rapper. You got bodied by a singing nigga. He told you what people were gonna say.
He ain't no battle rapper from Nebraska or Idaho. He's from Philly. Really? Drake?
It's a bad look, man. It's Drake? A bad look that's never going to go away. And it took him so long to respond, and then the response was weak. I wish we had our show when all that was going on, man.
Well, here's what I tell you. You better not tell me that Meek Mill, like all time, is a better rapper than Will Smith. You don't have any evidence.
Whoa. I
Where's
agree
the evidence?
I agree with you. Craig Smith says,
where's the evidence?
Craig Smith with the super chat says, all will be right with the world after GOAT drops KD3. I'm looking forward to it. And you know what? That could be a good segue because I think Logic just dropped something crazy.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We'll mess around with some other things real quick. KD says, J. Cole is a super talented rapper, but we got to keep it a stack. His discography is complete. Bashara. Cole doesn't have a good ear for music, but he can rap.
Yo, Mike, we got 350 people in the room right now.
Oh, we do. Shout out to everybody in the room. Everybody put the thumbs up so we can get even more people. Let's shoot for 400. LP says Nas and Steph proved Mike wrong in the 1 calendar year. No, that was magic. I don't know if Nas proved me wrong. Maybe. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Mike's kind of been shifted his opinion. Like I shifted my opinion, like Andre for a minute. What I want people to do is go pick up our yearbook on Amazon.
Yes. Pick up the According to Hip-Hop Yearbook. You can go get the 2020 one and the 2021 one.
Yeah, a lot of people are forgetting, and it's like we got a whole yearbook out that we did to document a lot of this stuff. And I only say this because a lot of people have started to inbox me on Instagram and Twitter, and everybody's showing a lot of love, and I appreciate the love. Like people are really, really behind us, Mike. It's a beautiful thing. But people be like, y'all should put something together to document all this, and I'm like, well, there's a whole yearbook.
Yeah, we got that.
Actually, for the past 2 years.
You know what? We'll put the link in the description.
Documenting it.
But for the
Right.
people who are watching on YouTube now, I mean, you can go to any of our other videos. The links are in that description. It might not be in this live right now. I'll probably add it into the chat and pin it up to the top. But yes, you can get the 2020 yearbook. You can also get the 2021 yearbook. And we're in the midst of putting together the 2022 yearbook as well, you know, via all of these discussions.
Well, so many people are literally hitting me. It's like, we love how y'all are documenting and archiving this, and it's a piece of hip hop history. And I'm like, nah, fam. I'm like, we're literally archiving like pieces of it, though.
In motion, live and in living color. Yeah. You want to talk about this Eminem song, or should we go to Logic?
I would prefer to talk about Logic just to keep the positivity going.
All right, cool. We'll do that.
Beans, hold on. Black Jesus just said Beans is better than Black Thought. Now you stop that.
I'm not mad at that assessment. I disagree, but I understand.
Hold on. I understand what
Beans is special, man.
Hold on. No, I told you Beans is a top 5 all-time talent. Black Thought is actually the execution of the top 5 all-time talent. If you
Beans
have Derek Coleman had top 5 power forward talent. No, Derek Coleman had top 5 power forward talent. How did that go? Does anybody know who Derek Coleman is?
I don't think comparing Beans to Derek Coleman is appropriate.
No, it's very comfortable.
I don't think so. Look, Beans makes you feel in ways that Black Thought just doesn't.
Oh,
Beans has some unteachable stuff.
Beans makes you feel in a way that like only like Tupac and Scarface and Kanye.
Yeah.
He's there. No, he's there.
That's a special gift.
He's got special gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Beans got special gifts.
Beans actually killed that Timbaland track too, that In the Club, and you know that should have been.
I told you know how I feel about In the Club. That's Timbaland's best hip hop track.
Whoa!
A lot of that is because Beans bought the hip hop out of the track.
Mm-hmm.
Beans, hold on. How about this? Beans smashed on Adrenaline, on Things Fall Apart, on the Roots album.
Mm-hmm.
People forget that's Beans. You know.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker, Rich Pryor, Kobe Bryant, them. Yeah, that's Beans early on, before he has a deal with Rockefeller. That's him.
Ryan Gillum says, are you guys still reviewing Lupe's album before his new album releases? I mean, the album's coming out next week, I heard.
Hold on. First of all, we're not talking about Lupe till Lupe dropped something. Derek Coleman was the best player in college when he played in college, and he was a 20 points and 10 rebounds when he was healthy, easy, without him trying, working out, or even lifting a weight or doing a damn thing. He was a walking 2010. Like, you didn't see Derek Coleman like early enough. Like, he was walking 2010. He could have averaged 30 points and 15 rebounds if he wanted to.
The Truest says, people acting like they ain't heard Lemon Pepper Freestyle and 7 a.m. In Bridal Path. And there's more. And I'm sorry, is there more? Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean,
first of all,
I like those records, but man, when Drake raps, look, I'll put it this way, and we're about to get the Logic. When you hear those verses from Drake, what makes them different than somebody like Logic, who is spitting his ass off, to be perfectly honest? Y'all might not really like Logic like that, maybe because his approach, maybe it's his voice or whatever, but lyrically, do you really want to sit there and say that you're moved by those Drake verses and act like Logic's not out here doing what he's doing and been doing for a minute?
I'm stuck on this whole Beans thing right quick. You're not about to tell me Beans is better than Black Thought when Black Thought made Do You Want More, Illadelph Half-Life, Things Fall Apart, Phrenology, Game Theory, Streams of Thought Volume 1, 2, and 3. And what we have is The Truth and Becoming and a whole bunch of verses.
Beans makes you feel, man, so I can understand.
No, I'm not taking nothing away from Beans. All I'm saying is and people are saying it's like, oh, Beans body kiss. You damn right he body kiss.
He did.
He did body kiss.
Yeah, that happened.
But Beans is a top 5 all-time talent, as in he is a talent on the level of Nas and Rakim and Jay-Z and KRS-One and Scarface and Ghostface. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, his talent is, and guess, in Black Thought. Like Black Thought's in that same conversation of talent. And Black Thought has done more to execute on the talent catalog wise. It's like the Steph conversation almost. It's like, well, if you're telling me MC to MC is Beans better than Thought because of like everything totally, it's like, well,
I think Beans is more versatile.
yeah, no. It's like, no, yeah, like Beans does stuff like what Beans did on One Shot Deal with Redman. That's like a Black Thought type moment, but Black Thought's not about to make a Feel It in the Air.
Black Thought's not going to make it in the club with Timbaland either.
No, that's what I'm saying. So he has that, but much like Steph, Black Thought walking around when it's like, well, I got 4 rings, got 2 MVPs, got a Finals MVP. You know what I mean? I got a scoring title. Like, what you feel what I'm saying?
He's a super MC.
So it's like, right. And so it's like, yeah, is Beans a better player walking around? How about this? There were people that felt like when Michael Jordan was walking around with Len Bias, and Len Bias was like the better player. It's like, well, Len Bias is taller. He's a better passer. He's a better rebounder. The only thing Mike is more athletic and is a better scorer. Len Bias was a better shooter, too. You feel what I'm saying?
At the time, yeah.
At the time. Early on.
Shout out to Free with the super chat. Says, will we ever hold Jay-Z for the damage done both Philly and New York hip-hop? Did he not kill Philly rap in its cradle? You know, it's funny you say that because I was talking to somebody about something like that the other day. LP says, so you're comparing top 5 talents to Derek Coleman. All right,
Derek Coleman was a top 5 talent. He should have owned Charles Barkley and Karl Malone and them. He was 6'10", could shoot the 3, could rebound, could post, had a short hook game, had a jump shot, he could do everything.
I'm not gonna blame Jay. I'm not gonna blame Jay for Philly because I was talking to somebody the other day and we had this conversation about, you know, state property and the Rockefeller thing and, you know, how dope that was that they were able to pretty much bring Philly to New York and, you know, kind of project it. But my thing was always like, you know, Philly's always had so much talent and Philly's got so much grit. And I love the city of Philly. I love going out there. It's like a Rocky movie. But it's like, where's Philly's Puff? And where's Philly's Jay? You know what I'm saying? In hip-hop wise. Now, I know Will comes from Philly. But, you know, Will's a movie star now. But, like, where are like I said, the movers and shakers on that business in Philly hip-hop? Like, why does Philly have to depend on the New York guys to do it? Because Philly's one of the biggest cities, you know, in America.
Well, Thought doesn't, and Thought moves in a lot of big thespian circles. It's not even hip-hop related. That's what I'm saying. Like, first of all, let's not get it twisted.
So is Questlove like, you know, Philly's Diddy or something? Is that what you're saying?
I guess you could say that. I mean, hold on. Questlove is more plugged than anybody who might be running New York right now. Don't get that twisted.
I mean, and as far as Thought goes, most influential.
Hold on. Like, Black Thought is the best MC that ever came out of this city. We're not having this conversation, are we?
No, I agree with that.
Okay.
Adriel Green says Beans versus Kiss was a legit tie, stalemate. I know we want to think that, but it was
not a tie. Kiss took an L.
It was very entertaining, though. I thought it was more entertaining than the
anybody that thinks that was a tie needs to go pull up the Put Your Hands Up freestyle where Beans is rapping over Jada Kiss's first official released single as a solo artist and is actually rapping over the beat better than Kiss is, and it's one of Kiss's better songs.
Spitting candy bars. Nigga sweeter than a Hershey Kiss.
He's rapping better than he is over one of the better tracks that he's rapping on. I'm like, this guy's crazy.
He's an animal, man.
I remember where I was when I heard it.
Yeah.
The Empire Strikes Back mixtape. I still have the Empire Strikes Back mixtape, Mike.
My blood pressure is building. LP says Jay used Philly like the stepchild it is to New York. Oh, my God. Listen, man, Philly has so much talent and always has had so much talent from, you know, from the neo-soul movement to the MCs. And I really wish that, like I said, on a mainstream level, that Philly had like a Diddy or something that was going to put on for the city on a collective where Philly artists didn't have to depend on New York like that. I mean, it's just a question that, you know, I had, me being somebody from down here, because every city kind of seems to hold their own in that way. And it seems like when we look at Philly, it's always like, you know, it's got to be connected to New York in a certain way. I mean, let me know if I'm off base with that.
Well, it's so close to get there, Mike. You can get there in like 90 minutes.
I feel you, but still, I mean, when you got mega talents and stars like somebody like a Will Smith to come out of Philly, it's like, and then the time period that Will came out of Philly, where are the movers and shakers that hit that main screen that are representing Philly? It seems like Philly artists seem to always have to depend on New York movers and shakers.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, aren't DJ Jazzy? Hold on, because
DJ Jazzy Jeff is a mover and shaker. Yes.
DJ Jazzy Jeff is a mover and shaker.
Yes.
Hold on. Questlove and Black Thought, the Roots have proven to be mover and shakers. And I keep telling people, it's like, Will Smith is still one of the 5 best MCs to come out of this city because of what him and DJ Jazzy Jeff did. And they really put this city on. And so when you're looking at it, it's like, well, no, the best that have come out of this city have been movers and shakers. Because I don't care what people trying to say. Ain't nobody done more moving and shaking coming out of hip hop than Will Smith, except for Ice Cube and Queen Latifah.
No, that's real. Soulmatic says DJ Jazzy Jeff talks about this subject on Nas's podcast. See, I got to check that out. It's funny. We all be talking about the same stuff.
I know this is people. There are a lot of Nas fans on here, and a lot of people keep saying to check the podcast, and I haven't checked, but that makes me really want to check it.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out for real. LP says Philly are pawns on the chessboard, respectfully. Y'all are wild. All right.
Yeah, that's right.
Logic dropped an album, Vinyl Days. And, we've been kind of talking about some of the singles leading up to Vinyl Days. He put out the actual title track, Vinyl Days, like I want to say maybe like 3 weeks ago. And then we heard the song with Wiz Khalifa last week, I believe. I was like, yo. And anybody who watches the show knows that I'm not a super Logic fan. I respect his skill set. I think he's brilliant as a mind. I mean, I saw the man freestyle and put together a Rubik's Cube at the same time. The shit is crazy. But I never really felt his music like that, right? I put this project on last night after I finished listening to that Drake project. And I was like, yo, man, this is really good. You know what? I think I was saying even leading up to this, those 2 songs that we heard, I was like, yo, these are good. I think I hit you up when I heard Vinyl Days. It was featuring DJ Premier. I was like, this is dope. And he did not disappoint on this project. Free says, Jay denied Black Thought album while at Def Jam. Never knew that. And Well-Versed Session says, the Roots had a nice farm system. Jill Scott, Music, Soul Child, Eve, Jasmine Sullivan, etc. Big ups to the Roots. Yes, big ups to that whole Philly scene. It was even bigger than the Roots.
So can I say something?
Go ahead, and then we'll get into Logic.
And this is why I love the Roots so much. People talk about the Native Tongues movement, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Roots are the one that kept it going. A lot of people don't understand. You know who's playing instruments on like Erykah Badu and D'Angelo's early material, right? You know who that is playing, right?
It's a what is that band's name? It's not the.
Well, I know it's Questlove on the drums for most of Baduism, Mike, which is where everything in the genre changes.
Soul Aquarian did D'Angelo's second album, but it was a band, and I just got through watching like a whole documentary on Neo Soul or whatever, and they were talking about that band that basically all of these people were coming out of in Philly.
Yes. But hold on.
Maybe they were all in conjunction, but it just wasn't the Roots alone. I don't want to,
No. But you know who the drummer was for most of those sessions, right?
Sounds like maybe Questlove.
Yeah. Go check the credits to Baduism. That's what I'm saying. It's like, go check the credits to Baduism in 1996, which is the same time Philadelphia Half-Life is coming out, which is the same time, which is right after Brown Sugar, which is around the time of Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite. You get what I'm saying? So they're kind of responsible for a lot of things. So when people are like, Philly's not mover and shakers, it's like, no. This whole sound of R&B that you love to go hear live right now, they help create the sound.
Philly had a lot to do with that. LP says
it's a live band sound
LP
with a
says,
hip-hop feel.
LP says Philly ain't ran nothing since Teddy Pendergrass. Y'all are wild.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Where's LP from? He must be from Brooklyn or something talking like this. Like, what is this?
So, Logic dropped Vinyl Days. And our first listen, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I said, this is the album of the year contender. And honestly, it's very tough for me to say this isn't album of the year based on
What
everything
makes
that
you
it
think this is an
entails.
album of the year, Mike?
You didn't feel like that? Okay, let me give you my 2 cents and why I thought so highly of it. I thought that the production was dope.
I want the evidence here.
I thought the production was dope. I thought that the lyricism and the rapping on there, I mean, was they were really, really rapping on this album. Like, everybody's feature on here is great too. It reminded me of like a much better version of what Russ did last year, right? Where he actually dominated the records. I think the production job was better on this album than the Russ project. And I think that he covered pretty much everything. And this is coming from somebody who don't even really feel Logic like that. And from what I'm understanding, this is his final album on Def Jam, and he rapped like it. Now, the only short points on this album, I think, were some of the fake moments, right? Like, I think that Flex really wasn't feeling the way the stuff that Flex was saying on that sounded scripted, right? It didn't sound like Flex was really in there like, yo, you know what I mean? It sounded a little scripted.
Hold on.
And then
you're telling me, let's pause for a second, Mike. You're telling me Funkmaster Flex was reading from a script and didn't really feel what he was saying or believe what he was saying? Say it ain't so.
Oh my God. Nah, I mean, I think that for the purposes of the album, right? It didn't, and of course, it's an album, it's a studio session. It reminds me of what Tyler and Drama did last year. Was that last year? Yeah. So it reminds me of that in that sense, but this is Flex though. And you know when Flex is really feeling something and you can hear it, and it felt scripted in that way. So maybe he didn't need Flex on some of those things. I mean, the Morgan Freeman intro was interesting that he started off with Morgan Freeman. And I think that at the end, when he was telling like the whole story and stuff, it sounded very Last Call-ish from Kanye, or even, My First Song-ish from, Jay on the Black Album. But Logic just doesn't have that kind of vocal demand even when he's talking. I think that for him, rapping is his strong suit, right? Get in, get out. You don't need to do all that talking, none of that stuff, man. But other than that, I mean, the way this shit was put together, the production on it was on point, man. And this is some of the best verses I've heard all year. I think his verse on a few of these joints, but the one specifically, Therapy Music with Russ, I think that's a verse of the year candidate.
I thought the one with AZ was a verse of the year candidate.
I don't think he got outshined by his features either. And he has some really heavy features on here. The Game's on here. You got AZ on here. I like the artist that he had from Nigeria on here, Nezzy.
Nezzy Snap.
Blue and Exile killed it. Blue killed it, I mean. Russ is on here. Wiz Khalifa's on here. I think even with his homeboys, Langston Bristol, he killed it. I like Currency on here. It's just a really dope album. Anything that we ask for in an album, he did that. And I think that the only thing, like I said, other than the things that I just said, you might say it lacks originality in a sense where it's kind of a throwback in that way. But I mean, I guess if you want to take points off of that, that's fine. But that's and that's the only thing that made me think like, okay, how could I justify saying that No Fear of Time is better than this album? It's 30 tracks. I mean, he's rapping at a very high level, and someone could say that most didn't really sound into it on No Fear of Time. But see, the only thing that I put No Fear of Time high for, and this is really big for me, creativity.
Mike, it's not just the creativity that's high on the Black Star album. The bars are still high.
Oh yeah, no. But that's a given with them.
This is high.
No, that's a given. That's Black Star.
Right. So hold on. What we're saying is that the beats are high.
The beats are high on this too.
No, the beats are high on this too. The lyrics are high on both. What's higher on content?
I think this one. It's just
Okay.
more. I mean, I
Okay.
think they're both comparable in that way, but I think it's just more, and
No,
it's easier to cover a lot of things when it's just one person as opposed to two.
I would say content comparable. I would say beats comparable. But here's where I'm going to start unpacking some things for
Go
you.
ahead.
This is still an album of the year contender. Okay. I don't think it's the album of the year, and here's why. And I hate to say it like this. I don't know if somebody like Logic with his rap voice and his delivery can make the album of the year ever. I think it's always going to be hard to do because when I listened to this album, Mike, it bothered me that I really realized who I even was as a hip hop fan because I really realized something. I was like, well, his voice isn't great enough and his flow isn't great enough.
You don't think his flow's great enough?
And listen to what I'm about to say, because being entertaining matters.
I'm gonna tell you this, and and I
wasn't finished, but I want you to go ahead.
No, I just want to say this real quick. When I heard Conway on his project, after listening to Logic, I was like, okay, well, do I hold this Logic album as high as I think I do? But again, a lot of that's because of Conway's delivery and his voice. And I see what you're saying in that way. But go ahead and finish your thought. My bad.
No, it matters when you start splitting hairs.
Yeah.
It matters when you're like, well, how entertained am I by this? Because I'm going to tell you something. This is where we're splitting hairs. This is a dope album. The most entertaining moments by him, like the moments where he sound like a rap superhero the most, because this is a superhero sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He sounds most like a superhero when he's paired with another superhero. He sounds best on Clouds with the Langston Cat and Currency, on Therapy Music with Russ, on Breath Control with Wiz, on Portal 1 with RZA, on Carnival with AZ. These are on I Guess I Love It with The Game. These are his best verses, Mike. He's actually most entertaining.
I think he's versatile. The most entertaining on Bleed It, honestly.
Which one is Bleed It?
That's the one that got the Beastie Boys sample.
Yeah, that's the early one. Yeah. No. I'll give you Bleed It. No. He caught some wreck on there. No. That's not to say that he's not great, but it's like when I listened to this album, it was like, and this is what I mean. I'm going to listen to this album as much as I'm going to listen to Meth's album, because even though I know this album is better, Meth is more entertaining, and he's the better MC. And even Meth performing at a comparable level lyrically with his voice and his delivery, Mike, it's about the win every time.
No, I agree. I mean, he's an all-time great. We're not even going to compare.
And right, it's not fair, and it's not fair to Logic. But what I'm saying, in a year like this, where he makes a project this dope that deserves to be an album of the year contender, I can look at a Method Man project that's one step down, I think, beat-wise and concept-wise, but the MC's voice and delivery and lyrically, it's like you can't beat it, and it's just one of those things. It's unfortunate because we're talking about intangible things. We're talking about genetics. It's like I know how to make my voice sound like my father's voice when I want to, and he's from Youngstown, Ohio. It's genetic. I can do that, and it's like when you just blessed with some things vocally, you just have some things vocally. Meth got that delivery and got that voice, and so when he's punching the mic, well, it's like he can punch the mic. He can be silky. He's Meth, and guys like Logic, no matter how super lyrical they get, well, it's like, well, are you Rakim? Well, are you Nas? Are you Black Thought? Because you don't even have their voices.
I see. Look, all right, let me get to the super chats. I want to respond to that.
Please do.
Yeah, Well-Versed Sessions. Well-Versed Sessions says, did Minnie Kendrick, a.k.a. Logic, drop a better album than the Omega himself? Too early? LP says, he's too bland. He's like almond milk. I think that this is better. All right, let me get to the super chat real quick. Mad Max says, I think Logic got a great flow. LOL, his flow is so polished. I think that the only problem is because he's almost too polished. I was going to get to that. Okay. And I want to get to that Mr. Morale
it's
thing
not
too.
that.
No.
You have to do.
I understand what Mad Max means. I understand because
I do too, but that's not correct.
This is where I was gonna go. Somebody like Logic clearly. Now, see, we always talk about Eminem respecting the culture and loving the culture of hip hop. Somebody like Logic clearly does, right? He studied this shit. I can hear in the actual bars like where he got certain things from, right? And I'm like, okay, he's really a student of the game. But to your point, that doesn't mean that you could duplicate that. No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Who have better voices and are better lyricists and better at flipping words and better MCs.
I agree with you. But when we talk about someone like a Logic, and again, I know he's mixed, but sometimes when people come from different cultures, and I know it sounds like he comes from a different culture, right? A lot of these things aren't natural for them, right? So it kind of seems very structured and put together almost in a very calculated way. And that's why I brought up the flex thing. Like Black Thought wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Let me take Black Thought out of it. Joey Badass wouldn't do that, right? A lot of the things that Joey Badass does, it just comes naturally.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? And Logic could, on a technical level, write a better verse than Joey Badass. But the way Joey Badass delivers it and gives it to you and the way it flows out, it's different.
Hold on.
And I hate that because Logic's very talented. You know what I mean? And it's hard for me to even sit here and listen to this album and pick it apart in that way because he hit all his marks. It's just some of those intangible things that you're talking about that he's just never going to have. And I hate to hold that against anybody.
No, hold on. First of all, to the person in the chat, Aaron Love, that said I'm racist. I'm not racist. I actually like Logic. I actually like Logic and have thought more highly of him, literally up until this point in this show, than Mike has. But I'm also fair and I'm unbiased in some of the things that Logic is getting credit for on this album. I'm like, well, hold on. People be knocking Black Thought for that and Eminem for that. It's like, well, and Kendrick for that. It's like, well, you're too technical. It's like, well, what are you really rapping about? You're fundamental and all these other things. And I'm like, well, hold on. We knocked those guys for that. And it's like, well, those guys have better verses, more versatility, better content.
Eminem doesn't have more versatility than Logic. I'm sorry. He does.
More what?
He doesn't have more versatility than Logic. Logic's rapping over all kind of beats.
No. Versatility is about the type of songs that you can make too. Logic can't make a hit record. Eminem can.
He got a hit record. He got a diamond record. That Suicide Record's a diamond record. LP says Logic raps like a dancer.
Mike. You're not about to put Logic and Eminem in the same hit record category.
Man, Eminem came up during a time where TRL had his back. I'm pretty sure if Logic came out during that time, he would have hits like that too. LP says Logic raps like a dancer who counts their steps. I can't refute that.
Now that's racist.
It's not racist.
That is racist. No, what he's trying to say is like that boy White right there. He be dancing like he counting the steps. That's racist.
But see, that's the thing though. It just sounds like a lot of the things aren't coming out natural, and and that seems unfair because maybe it is. Maybe it just sounds like that to my ear. I don't know. But again, I'm trying to sit here and listen to this album for what it is, like beats and rhymes, right?
Right. And so, Mike, beats and rhymes, check and check.
Yeah. Yeah, and subject matter, he hit all his squares.
Right, except Mike, and we're just going to keep on going back to this. There's this song on Paid in Full. It's a 4-letter word. You got it? Soul. It's not got no soul, Mike. Like everything that you know, everything that you say about Jack Harlow and Eminem that causes controversy, I want you to understand this. Well, Logic is checking more boxes than they do, And he's doing things that are even more ingrained in the culture than they do. But
Yeah.
guess what? The rule still applies, Mike. You got to feel it. It got to have some soul to it. And what this album is really missing, and why it can't be album of the year in this culture, is because, well, it don't have no soul.
I disagree with you. I think that I felt this album more than I
It
felt
doesn't
any
have
of his
soul, Mike.
work.
There's not a moment on here that you connect to personally as a black man that comes from an inner city culture and say, this song speaks to me and speaks to my culture and speaks to my community. There's not a moment like that on there. An album like that can't be album of the year in this culture,
Well,
because at this point, hold on, because at that point, we're bending culture, and we already got enough people outside of us bending culture.
I think that's a little unfair though, Coop, because not every really good rap album does that. Like Blackout, Redman and Meth, that didn't speak to the ills of the community.
And it's not, and it was nowhere
stuff.
close to being album of the year either. It wasn't any album of the year contender, because when you make album
Muddy
of the
Water
year shit over here, you gotta.
Muddy Waters didn't do that either. You know what I mean?
And it wasn't album of the year. Reasonable Doubt did that.
It did. But he talked about a lot, man. He talked about a lot.
If you actually want to get technical, the beats on Muddy Waters are better than the beats on Reasonable Doubt. The rhymes end to end.
I disagree with that.
Oh, hell yeah.
I disagree with that.
Hell yeah.
100%. If I'm picking beats, I'm picking the beats that are on Reasonable Doubt.
And Politics as Usual. And what else? Cashmere Thoughts. Go listen to those beats and go listen to the beats on Muddy Waters, and you tell me what sounds more current. You picked
some of the lower end stuff. You didn't say Bring It On. You didn't say Can I Live. You didn't say Dead Presidents, Feeling It, Can't Knock the Hustle. Nah, I think the beats on
Can't Knock the Hustle beat's a little dated too, Mike.
It's beautiful.
Brooklyn's Finest by Clark Kent. That's not a great beat, Mike. The beats on Muddy Waters are better. No, in terms of how they held up. Listen to what I'm saying. The beats and the rhymes on Muddy Waters are actually better, if not, how about this? They're comparable, if not better than Reasonable Doubt. But the life part, Mike, the soul part of it that you connect with, when he's saying on the evils, thinking back when we first learned to use rubbers, he didn't learn. So in return, I'm kidnapping his baby's mother. Muddy Waters doesn't have thoughts and perspectives like that. And that's why Reasonable Doubt's album of the year in 1996 on a rap album level, and Muddy Waters isn't, because the beats and the rhymes can be comparable, but the soul needs to be there. It was written lyrically is beyond Reasonable Doubt. But the soul of it, it doesn't connect the same, because it's like, oh, this nigga Escobar now. It's like he's doing mafioso drug tales now. Jay's still talking about the street shit that's going on.
So basically, you're saying there's nothing that Logic could do to make a great album.
When did Rocket make I Know You Got Soul off Paid in Full, Mike?
That was 87.
He changed everything when he did that, because he spoke to something that gravitated towards why we love this culture, and he identified and expressed it as an MC, and that's why Paid in Full is one of the greatest albums of all time. That's one of why he's still arguably the greatest MC of all time, depending on who you ask, is because when he set that moment and that thought off, it activated something that's real, that even changed the way that albums get made. It gotta have soul. What came right after Paid in Full is It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back.
I feel you, but if that's being said, like, where do you have Eminem all time then? And when did he ever give us anything soulful?
You're the one that's been pointing that out to me, not me to you.
KD says, Coop is bugging, LOL. Eminem can't make a genuine hit today without a big label push from Interscope and a feature. And he hasn't since he went sober. I mean, he had a song with Beyonce that we don't even know the name of. Eminem and Beyonce got together, and that shit was a dud. That's probably the biggest flop of all time. Mad Max with the super chat says, nah, that Under the Pressure album had soul. Or The Incredible Story, that had soul. It's more to Logic than just the nerds.
No.
He's like
I'm not saying,
no. Yeah, Under Pressure was dope.
No, I was about to say, no. He's made soulful stuff. This isn't it, though.
I'm going to have to disagree with you, man. This album is hard.
Where? What album speaks to your soul, Mike? Tell me where you hear something. Oh, hold on, Mike. I want you to tell me one thing. Tell me where he says something on this album that you relate to and it speaks to your soul as a black man. Tell me. Tell me. Like, because here's what I mean. Like, because I'm going to tell you part of why I love Pray for Paris. Like, Westside says stuff on there where it's like, well, no. I know what he's talking about. I relate to the struggle
I
of that.
feel
It
you,
speaks
but
to my soul as a black man. Like some of the jail talk that West Side got on Pray for Paris, even on Versace, listen to what I'm saying. Emotionally, when you hear him say at the end, I'm never going back. When you hear him say that, Mike, it does something to you. You're like, oh no, he's serious.
no, that's real.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't mean
You
that I
need that.
can't.
No. That's the thing that classics and album of the years are made of too. Those are the intangible things. Those are the things that championship teams are made of. See, it's not just the fact. How about this? Andre Wiggins, he didn't score a lot of points,
Andrew
but
Wiggins?
he played excellent defense and rebounded. It's the little things, Mike.
This is the thing, though, Coop. I could still
Oh, that
listen.
lyrical miracle. Oh, the beats are hard. The rhymes are hard. Oh, that's great. How's that make me feel when I get in the car?
You sound like me. But what I'm saying is, like, look.
Because Illmatic got great beats and great rhymes, and guess what it does when I get in the car? It makes me feel something.
Definitely. It's different.
I'm in Queensbridge on New York State of Mind. I'm feeling like life's a bitch on life's a bitch. I'm feeling like the world is yours on the world is yours. I'm feeling like memory lane on memory lane because the shit got soul.
I'm
feeling like representing on representing because it got soul.
I hear you. So how has Eminem gotten this pass all these years? And I've been sitting back looking like the crazy person. I've been called a racist.
You have been the one. See, people think that I turn you. I keep telling people it's like Mike turns me more than I turn him.
Man,
I've always told you it's like he's a great MC and lyricist, and I'm going to check every other box that you say about what he's missing. Because no, when you bring up the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem show and how great they are, and you're like, well, Coop, when do you relate to it? How do you feel about it? And it's like, well, damn, I can't relate to it. I don't know no shit. I'm sorry, Mama. I never went to hurt you. I'm cleaning up. No, I don't know what that feel like. It's like, no. Me and my mom's is like, yo, no. I'm going to take my black ass to work to help you keep these lights on because I got 2 younger brothers and sisters and we sitting up here stuck out here. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, Logic talks about the struggle too. I mean, he got a black parent. LP says Logic's music is for kids that go to charter school. LP got a lot of them today. DeCarlo, this is what I've been waiting to hear from. He said, I'm going to need y'all to define soul. Do we have to? Soul is a spirit. That's the thing about soul. It's something that's like, you know, soul you can't define.
The most intangible quality about this. It's when you hear James Brown yell on record and you feel it and connect with it, even though he's not even saying a word that's in the dictionary.
The Holy Ghost. It's like, you know what, when you listen to that verse that I pointed out earlier, Scarface's third verse on Mom Playing Tricks on Me, the chills that you get hearing that's what soul is. It's chilling. And you know what? There's a difference between...
See, that's what I mean. The soul is different things. Soul could be James Brown on Sex Machine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you hear him when he's like, get on the scene, like he means it. He means it. Get on the scene like a sex machine.
What are you rating this album so we can move on to the next topic?
I think that it is right now probably like a top 5 hip-hop album this year. I still personally...
You got Shay Noir over this?
Huh?
You got Shay Noir over this?
I got Black Star still number 1. I got Shay number 2. I think I'm cool with putting it right there with the Ransom at number 3 or 4. Either tied with Ransom at 3 or at number 4 right after the Ransom. I need to listen to the Ransom again.
They said that Mike is trying to rewrite / erase Eminem from the game. I don't have that kind of power, guys. I'm just trying to put some context. Okay.
When we do acquire that kind of power, we will not be ousting him from this, but we will be providing proper motherfucking context. Like Infinite's not an album. How about that?
I don't want anybody out of the game. Everybody earned their spot and everybody worked hard. It's just about putting things in proper context. You know.
Eminem's a dope MC. I'm going to keep on saying that. He's a dope MC and top-notch lyricist. I can remember being excited to buy Bad Meets Evil. Okay? I remember being excited to cop that.
I remember being excited to buy the Marshall Mathers LP, but I feel like MTV tricked me. MTV and Napster. KD says, Coop has a point on how these white rappers are missing soul in their raps. Their verses always a bunch of I'm the best bars with zero substance.
No, hold on. Listen, let's go to I Know You Got Soul. This is what I'm talking about when you say Rakim. And there's a Jay-Z video rolling around about the same bars. Constant elevation causes expansion. I write my rhymes while I cool in my mansion. Look at how many worlds he went through in 2 bars. That's soul.
It's a different way of looking at life. Man there with the super chat says, bottle. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get to the Eminem bars. He was like, modus
no, we got the
bottle
I
of blonde dye.
Did you get the same bars, Mike? Yeah.
I discovered top 5 since I discovered peroxide. I thought that was interesting too. Yeah, I got since I got signed. Shaking my head. CeeLo, the highlight of King and I. Yeah, he was all over with that. And his rap style and the way he's doing things, I'm not really feeling. All right, this is what I'm going to say about the
doesn't
Logic.
have any soul. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're black. It doesn't matter if you're white. It doesn't matter if you're purple, if you're green. This is hip-hop. It needs to have some soul to it. It needs to have something we can relate to or feel. You need to say something that we can relate to and that we can feel. Like when Jay's on Can't Knock the Hustle. Let's go back to we do dirt like worms, produce G's like sperms, to legs spread like germs.
I got it.
No, niggas on the block. You feel me?
Yeah, it's different, man.
To that. That's got soul when he says that. That's soul. That's Hove talking. Like, that's soulful. It don't gotta be like Chuck D, Tupac, Ice Cube, like Nas, like super lyrical, miracle, impactful soul. It needs to be soulful. You need to be able to relate. When Jay is at the end of Politics as Usual, you know my favorite part of Politics as Usual? Where he goes, ain't no stopping the champagne from popping, the draws from dropping, the law from watching. What does he stop? My favorite part is he goes, I hate him. That's soulful. When he says, I hate him, that's soulful.
I say this respectfully.
He's not planning, Mike, he's not planning to say that. It's not rhyming with anything. It's not part of the verse. A part of him comes out when he finishes the verse. He's thinking to himself, he's like, I hate these motherfuckers. I hate them.
Christopher Hogan with the super chat says, so what white rapper in history had soul?
No, hold on. I believe somebody went to another super chat that I just read. It's like Bubba Sparks had soul.
Yeah,
yes.
Antler says Bubba Sparks.
You want to hear some soul? Go to Bubba Sparks, She Tried on Deliverance, where he's talking about cheating on his girlfriend / wife. Soulful. It's a soulful song. It's a whole story too. It's actually one of the better hip hop stories, Mike.
It actually sounds good on the Dungeon Family album too. He was on White Guts. So, you know. But again, and I say this respectfully, if I have to define soul to you, I don't really know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things you got it or you don't. And
hold on. You want to know what? Here's another soulful moment. Everybody knows this soulful moment. Falling back on that ass like a hellified gangster lean. Getting funky on the mic like an old batch of collard greens.
But who's to say, Coop?
That's soulful. That's soul. That's connecting to something. When you heard that, it's like getting funky on the mic like an old batch of collard. It's like, oh shit.
But Coop, who's to say, though, that something else that's not soulful to you isn't soulful to somebody else, per definition? KD says...
That's why I'm giving you a myriad of examples. I just gave you an example off The Chronic. I gave you an example off Reasonable Doubt. I gave you an example off Bubba Sparks' Deliverance. Hold on. The soul travels.
But what if that's not soulful to somebody else? KD says, with the super chat, he says, I heard that Meek disrespected earlier, by the way.
What disrespect? That was fat.
Y'all got to revisit the Meek / Cassidy beef one day. Lots of great bars in those disses. Make you wonder where Meek went when he went at Drake. You know, it feels like, and this is conspiracy theory, Mike, my thoughts don't reflect the brand of According to Hip Hop. It almost feels like Meek threw that fight. I don't know. It's like, man, you couldn't do better than that. And then you know what really made me suspicious about that? When Pusha T came with what he came with. And I'm like, how does Meek Mill not find you in blackface? You were on Degrassi. How does Meek Mill not find this blackface picture? Was he just not trying? Or was this fight fixed? I don't know.
Hold on. This is what I'm saying. It's like...
Katie says soul comes from real life experiences.
No, I mean, that's what I mean. But it's something that you connect to and that you feel. You want to know why It Takes a Nation is so important? Because it connects to a part of your soul when he starts saying some of the things that he's saying. You feel what I'm saying? It's not a black thing. It's it's almost like an oppressed thing that you connect to on It Takes a Nation of Millions.
Well,
That's what I mean. Soul can travel in different ways. On Illmatic, it's the timeless themes that are soulful. It's not even Nas that is soulful. The themes are soulful, and his expression of them come out properly. It can be done so many different ways.
Chuck D really hits me that way, you know, like shut him down when he's like, I testified, my mama cried, black people died when the other man lied. That hits you, you know what I mean? Ryan Gillum says, Big Crit is soulful. That he is. LP says, Philly got all the attention it deserved already. You got to stop bombing on Philly like that. I love Philly. These are comments from LP. Where you from, LP? I gotta know.
No, he's from Queens. We already identified that.
Okay, cool. I missed that.
No. Hey, look here. In North Carolina, more than any other cats from New York that I've seen these Queens niggas, Mike, already.
All right, well, Eminem.
Where are we going next? What album we got next? Because we got like a whole lineup.
Yeah, we got a whole lineup. Yeah, we're going to this Eminem song next. So Eminem released a record today.
Speaking of soulful.
Or yesterday, or lack thereof. It's on the Elvis soundtrack. It's called The King and I, featuring CeeLo Green.
I was talking about Elvis when I meant soulful. Elvis actually had soul. Like somebody sent us a very informative and kind of like halfway like disrespectful soliloquy on why they felt like, you know, we didn't cover the Elvis thing properly. Mm-hmm. Don't get it twisted. Elvis had soul. You feel what I'm saying?
Appreciate Marquez Davis again with the $20 super chat. Let me go ahead and get to this. He says, Drake equals most hits. Kenny equals best albums. Cole equals best lyricists. That is how I define those three from this era. Now, I'm tired of people saying that Cole does not have good albums. He has diamond plaques. Drake has made duds for a while now. You know, it's interesting that all of them do have those individual powers, right? But it's like some could say that Kendrick's the best lyricist. I've said that many a times as well.
He's the best lyricist for this era.
We're not used to all those things being so separate. There used to be a time where, at least for one period, there was one person that had all those things. DMX had the most hits, best albums, and was, you know, killing it on the lyrics at one point when he ran it. But, okay, what was your thoughts on the Eminem song?
I liked it more than you did. But that's not surprising, though, is it?
Listen, I have no expectations for any Eminem records. I think that one of the biggest things, though, I remember I hit you early. Actually, the song came out technically yesterday. And I've been asking you since yesterday if you've heard it. I hit Coop this morning, guys. I was like, you heard that Eminem record? It's like, I don't want to hear it. Now, and not just you. I talked to some of my other people like, yo, you heard this record yet? People aren't rushing to hear this record.
Hold on.
What type of all-time great do we have here?
No, it's part of it is because we do this podcast. Like, I'd be afraid to listen to the record because I've never been a big fan of his. I didn't go and buy the Slim Shady LP when it came out. A friend of mine in high school passed me a copy. I didn't buy the Marshall Mathers LP. I worked at a record store. They gave me a copy. I didn't buy the Eminem show. My best friend down here, who you went to high school with, Chris Hardaway, was an Eminem fan, and he had a copy of the Eminem show. So his most seminal works, I never even purchased. So I've never even been a fan like that, but I've always respected him. And so some of the topics and the subjects and even the way that you broached them, and not saying that you broached them improperly or incorrectly, have almost left me sensitive. Like almost it's like, and not saying I have to defend him when I come up here, but I've always found him to be a dope MC, even though I'm not a big fan of his.
Okay, well, to piggyback off of that, what did you think about his bar work on this song?
I thought the bar work was solid, but once again, you don't agree.
Where's the evidence, as you ask me? Like, what bars did you like on this song?
You don't think there's any evidence on that third verse that there's good bar work by him?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Let me pull up the third verse so the people
I figured you would. Let's go.
Dumb It Down says, what are Kendrick's clever bars? No entendres, no punches. See, we're talking soul again. All right, let me get to this third verse.
We are talking soul again. Let's get to the verse.
All right, here's the third verse. Let me make this a little larger for the people on
Said
the screen.
Elvis the Police.
Huh?
No, I'm just reading the chat. People be wrong. Hey, Mike, Denham's in the chat.
Yo, what up, Denham? All right, so this is what he says. Shout out to Denham out there. He says, I stole black music. Yeah, true. Okay, hold on. That I don't think is factual. I don't think that Eminem makes black music. And
Okay, so can we stop? Hold on.
Yeah, we can stop there. I don't think he makes black music to even steal it.
Right. Hold on. But this is what I mean about it being soulful. It's like, well, no, he's coming from a place of admittance and accountability, because it's like, even though, see, Mike, sometimes we're being too technical. See, it's like we're pointing out the nuances of how he hasn't stolen black music, but there is a whole constituency of black people that feel like he has.
He doesn't have anything to do with black music. When black all right, let's just say it like this before everybody calls me a racist or whatever. Black music is actually a thing, right? There's a such thing of black people who collectively make music that is in a predominant black space. That was actually created by black people, right? So if we talk about black music again, is he talking about hip hop, or is he just talking about whatever? Let's just say he's talking about hip hop, right? Because I guess that's the only thing he could be talking about.
Right.
What Eminem songs are you hearing in the mix with a bunch of black musician songs? And if we're talking hip hop, right? So you think that Hip Hop Parade is being played, and then boom, Real Slim Shady's coming on. What? Because if we talk about black radio, radio that was actually spinning black records, what records does he have that were getting heavy rotation in black radio?
No, but this is what I keep trying to express to you is that I hold the Machine and Dr. Dre more responsible for this even than I hold him, because some of the bar work is soulful. If you go to some of the stuff that he's talking about, it's not relatable to us because we're not growing up in the same community as him. But how about this? No. Let me backtrack a little bit.
This seems so different than your logic argument.
Go ahead.
It seems so different than your logic argument. All right. LP with the super chat says, why is hip hop even getting involved with this? If you're from the culture and came in after Chuck D said what he said, you shouldn't want to touch this off GP.
Okay, see, this is what I mean. So hold on. This is what I mean about how some of the label is responsible and how Dr. Dre is responsible. Remember the Without Me song?
Mm-hmm.
How does it start off? How does his ad-lib start off?
No.
Right. And how does it go? Two trailer park girls go round the outside.
He did that on here too.
Hold on. But listen to what I'm saying is that they always use his pain as satire and parody instead of making it soulful. And there is very few times when it's soulful, but he has those moments. Cleaning out my closet, The Way I Am. That's his best stuff. And so there are opportunities for it, but what they chose to do is satire and parody him, and Dr. Dre has something to do with that. He could have made some funkier shit. Mike, Chronic...
It wouldn't have been a hit.
Mike, the Chronic is one big gangster party, but we still have Little Ghetto Boy in the day the niggas took over. You feel what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
Hold on. The documentary is one big gangster party, but we still have Dreams and Like Father, Like Son. Get Rich or Die Trying, one big gangster party, but he still put Gotta Make It to Heaven for 50 mixtapes on there, and Many Men is still on there. You feel me? Like, mm-hmm. Dr. Dre knows how to sprinkle in that soulful stuff, even when he's making gangster shit. So you're going to do all this satire and parody with Eminem and not give him anything soulful? Because I'm going to tell you, the most soulful shit Eminem has is The Watcher.
But it's not his. All right, listen. Let me
no,
get
it is
to Brian.
It's just Dr. Dre took it and rapped over it for the Chronic 2001. That shit was supposed to be on M's album. It was.
Oh, come on, man. I need the evidence for that. Brian says...
Look at the time frame. Tell me that's not going to end up on the Eminem show right next to Cleaning Out My Closet.
No. That wasn't the time frame. This is 99. That wasn't going to be on the Slim Shady LP.
It was gonna be on the Eminem show then.
No, that would have been Marshall Mathers LP because the Chronic was like.
I mean, Marshall Mathers LP. Hold on, when's Marshall Mathers LP? 2000.
Mm-hmm. Brian
Yeah,
with the super chat
that's his
says,
writing zenith, Mike. That's his writing zenith as an MC too.
I think his writing zenith is the Eminem show. Brian with the super chat says, your thoughts about Eminem's music is flawed. The reason why he has legions of lifelong fans is because of the connection. He made you feel the real Marshall Mathers. He shared with us all of his flaws. Okay.
He even shared his flaws on this song. What say you to that? Because he even talked about how he's still struggling with some of his prescription addictions on this record.
Hold on, let me get to some of these other super chats and I'll respond to that. Shyster30 says, what Nas meant, Jungle had him vibing and he took inspiration from his brother. Of course.
That's the studio. That's called the studio. We call that the yo where we're from.
LP says, M makes black music like KFC makes soul food. You're on a roll tonight, LP. I agree with that.
No, he's disrespectful tonight. That's
I agree with that.
We need to stop co-signing. No. Hold on. So what is he talking on? First of all, you don't like the mashed potatoes and gravy from KFC?
Yeah, I'd rather have it from somewhere else. DeCarlo says Eminem is the Jim Carrey of rap. I'm with that.
Y'all wild. Like, okay, so hold on. You understand that Jim Carrey is one of the reasons that In Living Color was super successful, and he was one of the funniest cast members on that. So what you're saying, when you're saying he's Jim Carrey, you're saying he's super important to the brand and the genre, and he should be held up high. Because that's who Jim Carrey was on In Living Color.
He was important
because he made some of the most iconic characters. Fire Marshal Bill.
Jim Carrey's incredibly talented. KD says, Game broke down M's success perfectly. The novelty of the white deprecating rapper with huge label push and co-sign from Dr. Dre, Snoop, and 50 Cent, etc. Shyster30 says you guys stop writing for Drake, since guys stopped writing for Drake, dude's been trash. Okay.
Hold on, but this is what I'm saying though. Why are we not knocking the influence of the industry for taking some of the soul out of this? Like, how about this? Do you remember what Renegade sounds like? Is that not soulful what he's saying? Since I'm in a position to talk to these kids and they listen, I ain't no politician, but I kick them with it a minute. Like, that's not soulful?
I think this is where things separate.
We're not speaking from his soul in his place?
This is where things separate, man. And I'm just going to be perfectly honest. And I hope this answers Brian too.
I'm not a big fan of way too many times because you're way too disrespectful.
His shit just doesn't sound good to me. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know what else to really tell you guys. Like, we can make it technical. We can talk about, his spirit and like you said with Logic, basically anything that Logic's gonna come up with is really not gonna do it for you. He can sit there and write.
No. What I'm saying is no. Logic does it for me. But what I am saying is that his voice and his delivery in a climate where literally there are guys like Nas, Black Thought, Gibbs, Conway, Snoop, like literally existing and making great music for this guy to make the album of the year. Because what I'm trying to tell you is that he's not even as impressive vocally as Ransom is. Like, there's nothing that Logic just did. No, there's nothing that Logic just did lyrically that's beyond what Ransom just did. The song structure isn't as concise. It's lyrically not beyond. Beat-wise, it's not beyond. Ransom. I hate to say it like this. Ransom done been out in the yard and been through some things, and you hear it when he spit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Hold
different.
on 1 second. That's my daughter.
Different.
It's funny though.
That's like when my man Hub was telling me about how one of his people was telling him, he's like, yo, I can tell that nigga Westside been out in the streets more than Benny from how he talked that prison talk. Like that nigga was locked up more. Like he did more prison time. Like there are dudes that check the streets like that. Mike was like, yo, Westside did more prison time than Benny Coop. I can hear from how the nigga talk, he was in the yard more. It's like, no, that's real out here. So it's like you can't never discount that out here.
I hear you, man, and I feel you. But at the end of the day, man, the Eminem stuff just doesn't sound good, man. I honestly, man,
I
like
thought the song was fair.
I
I
could
didn't
sit
think it
there.
was great, but I thought it was fair. Like, what would you rate it out of 5? What would you rate the
Oh,
song?
I'm about to get to that. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. We're not gonna spare him. We're gonna get into the details because I don't want to be called a racist just to be,
You're not a
whatever.
racist. I just don't know why you. You're not a racist.
1 second.
I'm sick of white people calling you a racist.
I don't care.
It makes me want to be racist towards white people when they do that.
No, it's all good. It's a cop out. I'm just about the bars, right? And about
The white
music.
people that say that need to read the autobiography of Malcolm X and The Souls of Black Folks by W.E.
But let me get to that verse that you said had bars in it. And I just want to
digress.
I want to see what the bars are. So you said, I stole black music, yeah, it's true. Perhaps I used it as a tool to combat school. Kids came back from some bathroom shit. Now I call them haters in Bad Bit? Because they mad that they can't do shit. And now I'm such a dick. And all right, hold on. Where's the bars at? Oh, this is the part that I didn't like too, man. Still wrapping circles around you like a boa constrictor. Come on, man. This is on the top MCs of all time, allegedly. With bars like wrapping circles around you like a boa constrictor. Or, this one was crazy to me too. Which one was this? This is verse 2. Where he said, back in the cut and stacking my chips up like a can of Pringles? What? Oh, sometimes I feel like Pete Rose. Why? I got so many singles. What? Come on, man. Come on, man.
Pete Rose has the most singles all
I
time.
understand that.
I mean,
this is you said he's such a lyricist. And you say he's such a gifted lyricist.
Hold on. When we audit things, do we not check stats and check facts? So when he's saying, I feel like Pete Rose because I have so many singles, who has the most singles in Major League Baseball history?
I understand. And
no,
we all know
I want you to answer the question.
It's Pete Rose. This is basic.
Right.
This ain't all-time great bars, man.
So lyrically, is that on point and factual?
It's factual, but it's not good. That doesn't make it good. And then you know what I think? You know what I think makes it worse, though, Coop? You know what makes it worse?
Logic check. No, because he be checking a lot of boxes that Logic check, but for some reason you give Logic a pass that you don't give Eminem.
Well, I think Logic's rated properly. I think that's a big thing. And this guy gets called the king of this and that, and I think he even acknowledged that on this song.
He did.
You dropping bars
but
like.
This is what I keep trying to tell you.
You dropping bars like, let me finish.
Him?
You dropping bars like, sometimes I feel like Pete Rose, and then his ad lib is like, why? Because I got so many singles. Boo!
Him?
Get off the stage. You supposed to be one of the great writers ever.
No, but what I keep trying to tell you
chips
is
like
that him that you keep talking about isn't him. It's them downstairs with the cookies and shit, Mike. It's not him. It's
I don't
never
care.
really been him.
He's
no,
rapping.
What I'm saying. It's never been him. It's been everybody around him that's been keeping him from doing that. That's Dr. Dre.
Keeping him from
That's Interscope.
Oh.
That's the machine.
The machine's making him stack chips like Pringles.
Hold on. Do you really think that this... hold on. Do you remember the guy that's on Bad Meets Evil?
I remember him.
Do you telling me that the guy that's on Bad Meets Evil on the Eminem show is the same guy that's saying 2 trailer park girls go round the outside? You're telling me that's the same guy?
It is.
That's not the same guy. No, it's not, Mike. That's the fucking industry. And Dr. Dre and black affiliates and affiliations like The Source, Double XL, Black Radio, playing all of his shit and giving him big run got something to do with the soullessness of this nature because they fed into the soullessness to make some money.
Well, they all had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you think
50 him and audit everybody.
But I'm saying no. When they do it, it's not this whack. It's just not.
It is this whack when they do it because they did it with him. That's part of why his shit is whack.
Michael Holmes with the super chat says
he's their crash test dummy, Mike. Don't you understand? Eminem is the black people's crash test dummy in hip hop to see if this shit work or fails or succeed or not. He's the first great lyricist to walk in the door and let's see if we can make this great white lyricist a star. But they took all the soul out of it to make him a star. That's not all on him.
I want to know what makes him a great lyricist. After
you know what it means to be homogenized, right? You know what it is when you homogenize something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it's fair to say that he's been homogenized at the least?
Well, I think we need
the guy that I heard in high school, like Mike, has been homogenized. That's all I'm saying.
Well, again, we got to judge him on his homogenization. And we're not going to sit here and judge him on what you think he could have been. Michael Holmes with the super chat says, do y'all listen to Soulja Slim? R.I.P. Yes. R.I.P. Soulja Slim. DeCarlo says, people think Jim Carrey is overrated too, Mike. I've never really heard anybody say that, man. Jim Carrey's funny.
Jim Carrey's not overrated. And whoever said that's on Dre, I've been the main one saying this is on Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre's the main motherfucker. I blame.
So you're going to blame Dr. Dre for this dude being whack?
This is a cosign like no other cosign. Hold on. Do we not have episodes where I keep on saying repeatedly he got invited to the barbecue improperly and too early, specifically by the Source magazine and Dr. Dre via Interscope Records, because he was done with the gangster shit and trying to tie loose from Suge. The Aftermath compilation and the Firm thing didn't go well, and he was looking for a life preserve to remain relevant at Interscope. This was the lifeboat to remain relevant at Interscope, and he sacrificed and compromised to do it. Now, tell me it didn't happen like that. You remember what the Aftermath album was like. You remember what the response to the Firm album was like. Tell me that he didn't homogenize himself to bring this white dude in the game and suck all the soul out of some of this shit. And tell me that the Source magazine didn't capitulate to the shit by giving this motherfucker unsigned hype, even though he came in second place in the Rap Olympics. Tell me that we didn't invite this nigga to the barbecue early. Don't tell me that we're supposed to be holding him to a certain type of standard when he didn't deserve to get bought in on this level this way, and we did it anyway to make some money and sell some records, because that's what niggas do.
Dumb It Down says, why don't you do this for Kendrick's? That's what niggas do. Dumb It Down said, why don't you do this for Kendrick's verse on Mr. Morale? I could do that.
What verse on Mr. Morale?
Right.
Which self-effacing verse is therapeutic to him and not therapeutic to us? You want to talk about a motherfucker with no soul? Yeah, he's soulful. He's soulful about expressing his problems to us and then disappearing and going to Ghana. That's great. I'm glad he feels better. No, I'm glad he released this album and that he feels better. Guess what? Black people need to realize this. Kendrick dropped his album emotionally, psychologically. All you niggas is still the same. That nigga's in Ghana, big chillin'. Peace, nigga.
He's doing a documentary. We'll see what the documentary does.
Man, document these, nigga. Document these, nigga.
KD says, hear that, Mike. This whole Eminem song was a typical Eminem trash. Fast, abstract flow, hiding word salad verses where the substance is complete nonsense. Next topic, please. Damn.
Somebody said he wouldn't have had better albums had he signed to Terror Squad. No. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Had he signed to somebody that was more rap oriented than Dre, that wasn't looking for a lifeline, because you have to.
He wouldn't have been a star, though.
Hold on, no. People need to understand about Dr. Dre. He don't know nothing but Interscope. He did anything to make Interscope happy, especially after. I want you people to understand this. Interscope is used to Dr. Dre selling 4 and 5 million records. So the Firm going platinum and Aftermath, Dr. Dre Presents going platinum. That's not even touching half of the album sales on The Chronic, let alone Doggy Style. Murder Was the Case, the soundtrack, Dog Food, All Eyes on Me. So he needed something to save him. Getting Eminem off that unsigned hype in the Source was his saving grace and what's made him viable to Interscope again. There is no game.
Oh, he's Dr. Dre.
No. Man. There's no game or 50 Cent sign to Aftermath without Dre signing Eminem.
I disagree with that. I think
Eminem disagreeing with that
part.
Shit if you want to, Mike. Mike, tell me what you think of
there the first. There is no Eminem without him signing to Dre.
What numbers they did.
Listen, there is no.
I'm gonna tell you what. If Dr. Dre, listen, what I'm about to tell everybody. You want to know how cold this business is? In the late '90s, if Dr. Dre doesn't pick up Eminem, Interscope will drop that ass eventually.
I disagree with that. That's Dr.
Well, you keep disagreeing with that shit if you want to.
I think this is what I will say. Eminem
The
doesn't
lowest
sign to
numbers of
Dr.
his
Dre. We don't
career.
look. Eminem doesn't sign to Dr. Dre. We don't hear who Eminem is. All that Terror Squad stuff, man. He ain't coming out with no hits on the Terror Squad. Are y'all serious? Like, even though these records that Hide
Terror
My
Squad
Name
did the
is,
same numbers that the Firm did
I'm
without
telling you,
Interscope push.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
You making my point
No,
for me.
no, I'm not. This is different. There is no cosign in hip hop culture, and I say this respectfully. Terror Squad, they're not black people. You know what I'm saying? Like Eminem needed that. Yeah, they're Puerto Rican, they're dope. And you know what I'm saying? Puerto Ricans have their input on hip hop as well, but Eminem needed a strong cosign.
Hold on, stop that.
Eminem, no, let me finish. Eminem
I want you
needed
to
a
stop for a second.
strong cosign, and there's no stronger cosign.
Listen to what you're saying. Hold on, listen to what you're saying. So you're telling me that in the late 90s, early 2000s, getting signed to Fat Joe.
No.
Hold on, listen, no. I'm gonna say this again. Let's go all the way. Where Fat Joe from, Mike?
From the Bronx.
Where hip hop started?
The Bronx.
What you talking about credibility?
I'm talking about credit. You understand that Eminem doesn't make hip hop music, right? And
no,
so
what I'm trying
the
to
people,
tell you
listen to me.
What I'm trying to tell you is that had he signed to somebody like Fat Joe and Terror Squad, he would have made hip hop music, and this conversation would be going differently.
It wouldn't have sold shit.
Pun did.
Pun's actually great. And Pun actually had no. Eminem can't make the records that Pun made.
Pun lyrically, in terms of how he flips his word and what he does, is very comparable.
You really think that Eminem could have went out there and made "I'm Still Not a Player"? Come on, man, don't be disrespectful to Pun like that.
No. Hold on. First of all,
what Terror Squad record? What Terror Squad record do you think Eminem could have made?
And say that M could have made something like "I'm Still Not a Player," because I think that's a Biggie caliber versatility record.
Exactly.
But Mike, listen to what I'm saying, and you listen to me very carefully when I'm saying this. I don't think Rakim could have made that record, or KRS-One, or Cool G Rap, or Nas, and they still are who they are.
Rakim could have made that record.
You can be No.
Rakim could have made that record.
No. Rakim don't got "I'm Still Not a Player" in his catalog anywhere. Mahogany's not "I'm Still Not a Player," Mike. Stop that.
The regular one? The one with the OJs? There's none of the records that Pun actually made that were big records Eminem could have made. None of the Terror Squad records that, like, there's no launch of Eminem to the degree and to the magnitude that he blew up under Fat Joe. And I say that respectfully, man. I think that nobody could have launched Eminem other than Dr. Dre. And that's just point blank, period. Nobody had a strong... Dr. Dre's coming off of NWA, Snoop Dogg, Tupac.
No, he's not coming off of that, Mike. You talking about the late 80s, early 90s.
No, but he's still Dr. Dre.
No, what is he coming off of in 1998? Don't do that.
He coming off the Firm. He coming off the Firm.
Mike, no. Mike, you talk about how we don't get to document history improperly for other organizations. You're not about to document history improperly. The Chronic is 1992.
Right.
Doggy Style is 1993. Dog Food is 1995. It's 1999.
Well, he ain't got nothing to do with Dog Food. He's
in a drought.
Oh, you talking about Dog Food?
Mike. Call it what it is.
He was in a drought, but he's still Dr. Dre. And the machine
He is not Dr. Dre in 1999.
Coop,
Niggas is wondering if this nigga's gonna stay.
Coop,
Mike.
That's all fan talk.
Done that? Do you remember the response to "Been There, Done That"?
I understand, but the
Mike,
industry...
how do you feel about "Been There, Done That"?
It's cool. But at the end of the day, the industry clearly always had Dr. Dre's back. Dr. Dre was never going to fall off the face of the earth. If you think that Dr. Dre was going to fall off the face of the earth, you are mistaken. It wasn't going to happen.
This game is supply and demand, Mike. If he didn't supply Eminem, the demand for him was about to wane because
Bitch Please was before that.
No, listen to what I'm saying. He hit supply after Dog Food and All Eyes on Me. That's 1995, 1996, right?
Yeah.
What he supplied in 1997 was The Firm, which got extremely lackluster reviews and barely went platinum. This is literally after the previous 5 albums that he had produced had all sold at least 3 to 4 million records. This one barely went platinum. He followed that up a year later with the same results. This is the record business. This is about selling records. You're at Interscope, which is a big money machine. Don't tell me that he's about to be as viable if he doesn't come with Eminem.
I'll tell you this. No. Let's not rewrite history here, right? Look.
You are rewriting
No, no,
history.
no.
You making
Let's
it seem
go.
like
Let's
Dre was
rewind.
viable. He was not.
Coop. Let's rewind. Right. The bottom line is they had to get Dr. Dre back with Snoop. That was the pairing. That's what actually revived both. No, that is what happened. Bitch Please
Mike.
Bitch Please was in rotation before Marshall put anything out. And that's the truth.
Hold on,
They had
no.
listen to me. Let me finish. They had to get Dr. Dre back on track.
I'm literally doing a fact check on you right now.
Let me finish though. They had to get Dr. Dre back on track before they could even launch Eminem. Eminem didn't save Dr. Dre. He helped, he assisted just like everybody else did. But Snoop getting back with Dr. Dre is what brought Dr. Dre back to launch Eminem. And Eminem doesn't go crazy sales with nobody else other than Dr. Dre. There's nobody else to sign Eminem and give him that stamp of approval over Dr. Dre. Because regardless of what spot Dr. Dre was in that moment, Dr. Dre had a resume and always will. Michael Holmes says, can we get a Nas versus Biggie mock verse?
No, Mike. I got proof for you. I'm going to show you how the industry works with the comments that you just made.
Go ahead.
Eminem's The Slim Shady LP, and the making of that LP is why Bitch Please happened. And I'm going to explain to you why. No, can I have a moment to explain to you?
Go ahead.
The Slim Shady LP gets released February 23rd, 1999. Mm-hmm. Do you know when Bitch Please gets released?
What was that, like the summer?
April 29th, 1999. I thought you just said Bitch Please was the one that led one, not the other. Now explain. Explain how the Eminem... Explain to me, because here's what you don't understand. When they're dropping Bitch Please, Slim Shady LP is already double platinum, Mike. And that's part of the reason why Bitch Please happened. Now, you need to stop acting like... No. You said, let's not rewrite history, so let's talk about how the Slim Shady LP was double platinum when Bitch Please got dropped.
But do you really feel like Dr. Dre sold the Slim Shady LP?
Explain to me how Bitch Please was supposed to be the one that was running shit, but the Slim Shady LP is already double platinum. I thought you were talking about Bitch Please.
Hold on, was it already double platinum? Hold on. Let's look at the numbers here, right?
Go look at the numbers, Mike. You're going to be very disappointed. Slim Shady LP moved 4 million units. You 2 million units by the time it was June.
Because when did what is it? Not Bad Intentions. You know what I'm talking about. Guilty Conscience. When did that come out?
Mike, that's what I'm saying. It's called Guilty Conscience 98. They recorded all that stuff late 98.
When do you think they recorded Bitch Please?
The Slim Shady LP precedes all of that. That's what I'm saying. You understand that when Eminem...
Guilty Conscience got dropped in June.
Whenever Eminem got signed, unsigned hype in the source, he literally got flown out within a few days to Interscope and to Aftermath.
What I'm saying...
recorded... Hold on, listen to me. Mike, they recorded 5 tracks that made the Slim Shady LP that night. He already had stuff done. That album got done at the end of 1998. You're talking about the summer of 99. Eminem is the reason that Dre got run again with Bitch Please and all of that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't know, man. Hold on. Let me get to these super chats real quick.
Right here. You can't dispute February 23rd, 1999 is when the Slim Shady LP gets released. Guess what that means? That means that's already publicity and songs and singles being released prior to.
The machine's already on it.
Please, Mike, you just said to yourself, Bitch Please dropped the summer of 99. We're talking about late 98, early 99. There is none of that shit without Eminem because Dr. Dre's ship was sinking.
I disagree. Hold on. Let me get to these super chats. DeCarlo says, I've said this before, but I get killed when I say this. M kept Dr. Dre relevant in the 2000s.
He did, Mike. The firm didn't pop. The Aftermath shit didn't pop. His ship is sinking. He had to sign him. Mike, Dr. Dre didn't even want to sign a white artist.
M said, KD said, M is a manufactured legend. He's not a true legend. And I feel like we're missing a whole bunch of super chats when the chat's going crazy because I know we were going in. Joe says Eminem.
Snoop is with No Limit while all this is going on.
Yeah,
Mike.
But he's working with Dre all on that album.
No, he's not working with Dre around this time.
Let me finish these super chats.
Working with Dre again.
Let me finish these super chats.
Putting them back together after Eminem shit popped.
Let me finish these super chats real quick. Eminem's biggest accomplishment inside of hip hop and outside of selling records is signing 50 Cent. I agree with that. That's it. Only sold records because of the machine. Let's see. LP says Dre was at the bottom with the Aftermath album and the Firm flop. He had nothing going on before the Slim Shady LP. He was on the outs with Snoop.
Yep. These are facts.
Okay. So all this stuff was happening around months of periods of time. I guess where I was coming from with it, because I do remember when the Slim Shady LP dropped. The push for Eminem initially wasn't as big as when, Dre got back to prominence in 2001. Because if we be real, the big push for M was on the Marshall Mathers LP. They needed Dre to come back.
You want to know why that is?
Let me finish. They needed Dre to come back, but those records that Eminem did with him weren't the ones that brought him back. Now, it might have put him in position to get back with Snoop. I don't know the backstory with that, but the record that brought him back into Dr. Dre prominence was Bitch Please.
But what I am telling you is that there is no Dr. Dre prominence without Interscope backing it. So the fact that he dropped an album with Eminem in February, that by the time April rolled around had moved over 2 million copies and was trending towards 3 million, did a lot for him to, guess what, plug people in the game, like hook back up with Snoop, hook up with Exhibit, start making the Chronic 2001. This is when all of that happens. It's not Bitch Please that starts it. It's the Slim Shady LP.
Well,
and I'm sorry. Because here's the thing. No, Mike, we can't talk about how money moves this world around and then make it seem like while Dr. Dre is struggling for the first time in his career, and then the money starts moving again and make it seem like it was the music. No, it was the money that the Slim Shady LP did numbers-wise that made Interscope back Dre more, that gave him more leverage to be able to reach out to Snoop, even though Snoop was signed to another label through No Limit and start doing records again. Money makes those things happen, Mike.
I agree with you. And I think
so Dre wasn't making no money off the Firm and off the Aftermath Presents, but the Slim Shady LP bought money into Interscope, and that's when Interscope was like, we need more Dr. Dre. And if you look at right after the Slim Shady LP, Mike, is immediately when you get the Snoop and Dre hookup. It's when you get Exhibit's Platinum album. It's when you get 2001. This is literally Eminem's most important contribution to the game. Yeah. This is between Mike, in April of 1999, we get the Chronic 2001 in November. Don't tell me this isn't the reason.
Yeah. Now, I mean, listen. No.
Money.
Ho. This is the thing. And I think this is where we differ. I think that Jimmy Iovine had, Dr. Dre's back regardless. He knew he was going through a slump, right? And so it was like they were going to ride that slump out. Because at the end of the day, if they didn't think Dre had it in him to come back, this, that, and the third, they would have never brought Eminem to him in the first place.
No.
You know what I'm saying? He understood that, okay, this is going to work for everybody. And Eminem is an integral part in that. But they knew that getting Dre back, it was important to get Snoop back involved.
Hold on. Let's stop for a second. Let's back up. First of all, Leroy Green is saying Dre and Iovine are personal friends, Coop. First of all, you're wrong. Iovine was actually closer to Suge first. It wasn't until things started falling apart and he realized that Dre was the real money maker that he got close to Dre. Iovine was close to Suge until he realized that Dre was the money maker. Then he got close to Dre. The relationship's built on money.
Regardless, they're close, right? And he knew
they're close now because.
But even then, because at that point he had already picked his.
I get what you're saying, Mike. I need the brothers and the sisters in here to understand this. As black people, though, Jimmy Iovine followed where the money went. It lied with Suge first. Then he realized how Suge was getting his money and practicing his business, and then he floated to Dre. That's how business really works. So they might be close. Understand the intention and the principle of how they got close, because intention matters, especially when you're dealing with people that are not from your culture.
But Dre is Dre's gift.
And I'm saying this respectfully to say that Dre is not having problems when he is making the Chronic, Doggy Style, executive producing Dog Food, and All Eyes on Me. But when the Firm and Aftermath Presents don't do well, he is not a forefront in the Interscope building. And if you look around Interscope, around the time when Dr. Dre is not selling big records, is when they start putting most of their money behind rock and alternative raps. That all shifts when Dr. Dre, not Interscope, Mike, Interscope didn't go get Eminem from Unsigned Hype in the source. Dr. Dre did.
See
Dr.
that?
Dre. No. This is the important part of the story. People make it seem like
But see,
Interscope went.
that's the conflicting
Mike.
part because it's like 5 different stories, Coop. There's
No.
stories that
There
Jimmy
ain't no
found
different
them.
stories.
There's
There's the
stories
story
that
Eminem
interns
told.
found them.
No. Let's go to the story that the artist who actually was there told about how Dr. Dre came and got him, paid for his plane ticket, flew him to the studio. They made 3 songs that night and 2 songs the next morning. That's out of Eminem's mouth.
I've heard Eminem tell 3 different
everybody
stories.
else's story.
I've heard Eminem tell 3 different stories. I have.
I've heard no. The original story is Eminem said Dr. Dre came and got me, flew me to the studio. We made 3 songs that night and 2 songs that morning. We had 5 songs in the first 24 hours. That's from Eminem's mouth. I don't care. No, I don't care about those other stories. I remember the original story. No, I remember the original story from the original article. This is why history is important because
I wasn't there. I don't know. They tell all kind of stories, Coop. I don't know. They tell all kind of stories.
Mike, this is why, according to hip hop, is so important because even you right now, as the president of this company, is sitting like it's like, well, I don't know and I don't remember.
I remember they told 5 different stories. I wasn't there, so I don't know which one's right.
What I'm trying to tell you is that, Mike, I remember the first story, and the first story came from the artist.
Well, the first story could be made up too. LP says, Mike, Coop is right. There's literally literally the reason Forgot About Dre, the Chronic 2001 is damn near his still mad. He was mad at the negative feedback. I mean, that was his whole narrative period at that time because even on Hello, he's talking about, did I fall off? Got you ripping every Chronic poster on your wall off because I put away the sawed off. Carlos says Dre was all in M's videos like Puffy, and that's real.
That's what I'm trying to say, but that's not what he wanted to do. That's Interscope.
The Carlos says Eminem finally winning the argument. Mark the dates. LOL. Winning the argument for what though? I mean, I feel you. I mean, again, his role.
All I'm trying to say is that no. Eminem financed that whole second Aftermath run that you're talking about. There is the documentary Get Rich or Die Trying, Chronic 2001 without the Slim Shady LP. They were done with Dre.
Nah, I feel you on that, but I think the Marshall Mathers LP is the one.
How did rap careers work prior to 1995?
What do you mean?
How long was the average rap career?
It was about 5-6 years or so.
So when did Dr. Dre executive produce Straight Outta Compton?
That was 88.
So you don't think that this label thinks he's done in 97 after hearing the Furman Aftermath presents? Let's be realistic, Mike. Let's be honest with your own take about how hip-hop runs. They thought he was done. He found him a white boy who could rap. That's what gave them life, gave them money, and what we got was the next wave of Dr. Dre's classic executive production material, which was the Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem Show, Get Rich or Die Trying documentary.
Let's rewind. Hold on. I want to get some clarification. I want to get some clarification. So you're saying that Dr. Dre found Eminem without any involvement from Jimmy Iovine?
Yes.
Also, so the source put Eminem out, and Dr. Dre found him from
Dr. Dre's people gave him word, and Dr. Dre was first one to the punch. But keep in mind, while this is going on,
that's not the story.
No. But listen to this. What I'm saying is that no.
Because Paul Rosenberg was shopping Eminem.
No. This is what I'm saying.
Paul Rosenberg has said himself that he sent to Jimmy Iovine. Now I don't understand why the manager who was down with Eminem through the battle days would make that up. I think it would be more marketable for them to make up a Dre and Eminem.
When Eminem is being signed, he's already been on the scene for about 2 years, and all types of guys have had opportunities to sign him. Dr. Dre is the one that actually took him and signed him and did something. I didn't say he wasn't on the scene. I didn't say he wasn't viable.
You're saying that Dre signed him with no involvement. No, you're saying that Dre.
Joe was literally telling a story about how Eminem rolled up on him 3 times and tried to sign him. Do you know how many executives and guys out here have these stories about Eminem? He was around all of these guys for about 2 or 3 years before Dre came and got him. None of those guys said yes.
He wasn't going to sign to them. I mean, listen. So you're saying that Dr. Dre found him with no involvement of Jimmy Iovine?
Yes.
Okay.
Jimmy,
we'll do some. I want to do some research on this. No, we'll do some research on this.
Hold on. You want to know what? I want you to name one hip hop artist Jimmy Iovine has found. Exactly. You think he went and found a rapper from Detroit?
Well,
From 8 Mile, Mike? No, he didn't.
It was shopped to him.
Mike, Jimmy Iovine don't go to fucking 8 Mile.
He didn't have to go. It was Paul Rosenberg's job to get Eminem a deal. So you think Paul Rosenberg? No. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Which one? Ain't never found a rapper.
You're not gonna let me talk. You're not gonna let me talk.
Dr. Dre.
You're not gonna let me talk. No.
Dr. Dre fell in Jimmy Iovine's lap via Suge Knight, which is the best thing that ever happened to Jimmy Iovine. He's the luckiest white guy.
Do you think it's more probable? Do you think it's more probable that Paul Rosenberg went to Dr. Dre or that Paul Rosenberg went to Jimmy Iovine? Because Paul Rosenberg was representing Eminem. Like, that was the relationship, and that was actually what it was before Aftermath anything. So you think Paul Rosenberg went to Dre? Or you think that Dre was just in some rap battle or something and just told Eminem to come with him without Paul Rosenberg doing anything?
You want to know what's crazy about this? I'm going to tell you what's crazy about this. You've watched the interview about how Game explains how Dre sent for him, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you think Dre didn't send for him the same way, and why?
Because of what? I've heard multiple stories. I said I don't know.
Right.
I just based on all the stories that I've heard, because I've heard like 5 or 6 different Eminem origin stories.
This is why I bring up the whole Game thing.
I've heard like 5 different Eminem stories. I've only heard one Game story. So when I hear one story, I can believe one story over 5 different stories. And when I hear 5 different stories, I don't know.
Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. That's why I brought up the Game story. Because the Game story is comparable to the Eminem story. Those other dudes that you're talking about. Mike, are you going to let me talk?
Go ahead.
Are any of those other guys have comparable stories? Because
so
Drake has a comparable story
about
going to seek out Game. Guess what? He sought out Easy. He sought out Cube. He sought out Snoop. He sought out DOC. He actually has a whole fucking history of seeking people out like this. But you're talking about Rosenberg and Iovine like they've been some sort of linchpin for finding black hip hop artists more than Dr. Dre.
Well, Eminem's not black.
Is my question to you. No, Mike.
So
I'm asking you some real shit right now. Do you believe Rosenberg and Iovine, or do you believe Dr. Dre? Because I believe Dr. Dre.
I don't think I've heard Dr. Dre tell the story. I believe that management was shopping Eminem because it makes sense of how he got on.
They shopped him for 2 years and nobody picked him up.
Can I finish? That's how he got on these Raucous Records compilations. These sound bombing. That's how he got there because
shopped around and nobody was picking him up because they didn't know what to do with him. And Dre said, "I do."
Okay. Well, you know what? At this point, we're just gonna have to do more research to. At least I'm going to have to do more research to present to you all of the things that I'm talking about in our next episode. Because, I mean, we're spending way too much time on this. DeCarlo says, Dre was trash with Nas and AZ. Let it sink in. Y'all think the firm is trash. Okay.
It's not trash, just wasn't what it's supposed to be.
LP says, Dr. Dre, he pushed M in the way. I'm sorry. He said, Dr. Dre said he pushed M that way because M could get away with stuff that he couldn't. Dr. Dre is childish when you really think about it. The music he makes. Let's see. I know we probably got some more super chats here.
Listen to this. No. Here's exactly what I'm talking about. No, we're reading all of this. It's impossible to ignore the influence of Dr. Dre. Mm-hmm. This is an article that is written on April 15th of last year. Not only did he create history as the architect of NWA, but that's just the first chapter of his story. Dre is a hip-hop legend in his own right and possibly the genre's most treasured producer. On top of that, Dre also has an eye for talent, which is incomparable with anyone else around. No, Mike, let me talk. His willingness to collaborate with artists based on talent alone, throwing name value out of the window, has opened doors for obscure rappers to break through and become stars, with Eminem being the ultimate success story. Let's listen to how the story unfolds.
Go ahead.
Eminem was the battle rap king of Detroit. Making it in the mainstream was nothing more than a pipe dream. Before his fortunes dramatically changed and he became the hottest rapper on the planet, Eminem's life couldn't be further from glitz or glamour. He had a young daughter he was trying to provide for while struggling with substance abuse problems.
The battle rap king of Detroit?
I think that's fair, Mike.
That's
we got people on Detroit.
Already.
No, Mike, we got people on Detroit in this chat that I have talked to that said that they don't even listen to him, but everybody in Detroit respects him because he's the one that put the city on.
I don't think
On
I've
our
heard that
chat.
one.
No, you're not about to argue with these niggas from Detroit.
I don't think I saw anybody from Detroit say that. I remember the Outsiders manager
no,
came in and was saying some other things.
Mike. I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is when you log off, these people are still in the chat, and I'm still talking to them, and they have said that, and they'll come up here and verify. I'm telling you what I've seen.
Let's get Detroit in the building. Man Nan says more music got released to review, guys. Next topic.
Hold on, listen.
Go ahead.
In 1997, he recorded and released his first EP under a new guise, which allowed him to get deeper and darker before. That same year, his fate changed at the flip of a finger at his performance at the Rap Olympics that I bought up. It was a seismic event that this intern from Interscope Records saw his performance and became mesmerized. Not only was M a fearsome foe when it came to battling, lyrically, he was a class in his own. His charisma shined through, but he had star power through. I heard something in the kid who gave it to me, right? He was 19 and an intern. I heard the tape on the street at this rapathon. I said, tell you what, people helped me a lot when I was your age. I'm going to do something for you. Bring me the CD and I'll play it to Dre. Not to Jimmy Iovine, but to Dr. Dre. The intern said, I'm going to play it to Dr. Dre. I trust you enough. I put him with Dre, not Jimmy Iovine.
I've heard both stories.
Rosenberg, Dre.
I've heard that story too.
I listened to my music in the gym. Dre came by and said, and this is a story I've heard too, before you leave, take this. It's a white rapper who sounds like his pants are on fire. He's one pissed off white guy. He says, okay, I'll check it out. Dre says about 6 words a day. He calls me when he gets done. Have this kid come out here Monday. That's not Jimmy Iovine.
I've heard that story too. I mean, Coop, you're reading another story that I've heard. I've heard that story. I've heard the story that the intern was giving it to Jimmy Iovine. I've heard the story that Paul Rosenberg.
But Dr. Dre and Eminem tell the same exact story, so why are you taking other people's stories?
I'm just saying, I don't know.
No, Mike, this is you being funny about the Eminem thing. If Dr. Dre and Eminem corroborate this story that I'm reading to you, which I have on video on YouTube that they have, what is your thing with trying to make it seem like the machine pushed Eminem? Dr. Dre pushed Eminem because he was struggling. The machine got behind him, and you know what we got? We got 2001, the documentary, or Get Rich or Die Trying.
I agree with you. I agree. I don't even see what we're disagreeing on.
No. You keep trying to make it seem like the machine made Eminem. Dr. Dre made Eminem, so he's at fault.
So you think sonically, Dr. Dre just came up with the whole notion that, you know what, we're going to go this goofy route.
He needed to make money, Mike. He was becoming a fading star in their spectrum.
He got to go with the sure shot. And honestly, man, let's keep it real.
It's 1997.
I give Dr. Dre all kind of props for the job that he did on Eminem. I thought it was brilliant. And I also have said, and I think I said maybe a couple of minutes ago, I don't think anybody else could have done that for Eminem. And I think that the records that you say you wanted from Eminem possibly, they wouldn't have sold anything. Like if any man type of records were coming out under somebody else, he would have been just that backpack rapper.
I agree with all of that. It's just we have this sentiment where it's like we keep blaming the white establishment. Well, it's like, no, the black producer let that happen. That's all.
Listen,
that's all I can say.
I think everybody corroborated in it.
The blackest blackety black niggas for life, straight out of Compton. The chronic doggy style murder was the case. Executive producer is the one that led all this satire and parody and parables and all this misogynistic and hellfire and murder your mom and throw her in the trunk. Like he's the one that co-signed all of that. And that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And so when we're like, well, why don't Eminem have no rap shit? And I'm thinking, why does everybody have super dope rap shit, which is some of the best rap shit ever with Dr. Dre, but this guy doesn't? Well, that's Dr. Dre's fault too. The same way it's his credence as the greatest producer of all time, that he's made all this great stuff for other people. Listen to all the stuff he's made for other people. Don't tell me he's not at fault.
But see, again, I guess my problem with that, though, Coop, is the fact that I think we need to put everything where it is with the artists. We don't blame producers for what Nas is making or what anybody else makes. Why does Dre even have to be looped in with this?
Yes, I do. I blame Kanye for Nasir.
Okay.
Every day of the week, and twice on Sunday, I blame Kanye for Nasir.
Well, they blame Wyclef for cannabis, so.
No, and he deserves to be blamed for cannabis. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, no. And so, and maybe I should, like, I get passionate about this now because I think it's getting to the point that people feel like Eminem's not hip-hop oriented. And I don't want to be part of disseminating that information. It's like, well, if he's not hip-hop oriented, that's Dr. Dre's motherfucking fault, not Eminem's. Eminem's not the one with the cosign to the barbecue. That's Dr. Dre from Compton, right? Found NWA, DOC, Ice Cube. If this dude don't has a hip hop past, that's the responsibility of the dude with the ultimate hip hop past, not Eminem.
Oh, I'm missing a super chat real quick. Johnson Daily Sports says, "Thank you, Coop, for killing this Eminem hype over Twitter. He is the 17th at best."
And I've been saying this while I've literally been waxing people on Twitter that have been saying Eminem is the greatest MC of all time. I've been waxing them for that. I've been calling people clowns. I've been disrespectful the last 2 days about how people have been talking about Eminem so high. But Dr. Dre got something to do with all of this.
Like you said, man, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Dr. Dre has executive produced more Eminem albums than he's produced for anybody. He's still executive producing Eminem's projects, even the duds. Yeah.
So hold on. And so listen to this. When we talk about Dr. Dre's all-time great status, how many Eminem albums do we mention?
We don't even really include them, honestly.
It's the most work he's done.
It is the most work he's done. You're right.
So is he not liable?
But again, I think that's the dichotomy of the fact that we don't really consider Eminem's music black music or hip-hop music.
And how did that start? And hold on. And so here's where you and me pivot. And I think this is our tipping point. I feel like that started because Dr. Dre needed to make money for the company.
Well, he needed to make it work.
Compromised. Right. So he compromised and sacrificed this guy.
You're right. He needed a hit. And at the end of the day, like you said, Snoop Dogg was signed to No Limit. So Snoop wasn't his artist. He needed an artist that he could mold again.
Hold on. When all of this is going on, 50 Cent is rolling around with Nas and the Bravehearts and Jungle and Noriega, and the game is a teenager selling crack. So, you know what I mean? Like he ain't got a lot of valid options in '98.
I think where we differ too is I don't think that Eminem would have worked under anybody else, and I mean at least not to that degree. And I think Eminem probably would have made some good music. I mean, because again, he made Any Man and all the stuff that was around that era. But as far as like being like the biggest artist at that time, I don't think that works under anybody other than Dr. Dre. Because MTV, they really didn't at that time. There were a few rappers that they really, really rock with on a heavy mainstream level. Dr. Dre, Snoop, and Tupac were those. They kind of rocked with Big, but not in the way that they did Tupac, Dr. Dre, and Snoop, and Ice-T, and guys like that. And
hold on. Well, here's the reality of the matter. This is what I'm trying to say. So let's go to it. Well, Ice Cube, multi-platinum.
Yeah.
Tupac, multi-platinum. Ice-T, multi-platinum. Dr. Dre, multi-platinum. Biggie, barely platinum. It took a remix the year after his album came out for him to go to 1.5. Ready to Die didn't hit 1.5 till the summer of 95. And so you're dealing with the numbers game where the numbers matter. So it's like, when you look at it, it's like, well, The Chronic, 4 million. Doggy Style, 5 million. Dog Food, 4 million. Murder Was the Case, 3 million. Ice Cube solo albums, double platinum, double platinum, double platinum. You feel me?
Exactly.
Friday, 18 million at the box office with a $3 million budget, $15 million profit. Money talking bullshit walk. This is entertainment business.
That's what I'm saying. I think that Eminem.
You don't understand. Big and Puff wasn't getting money like that in 94 and 95 like these West Coast niggas.
Eminem walking in the door, Dr. Dre's the only option. The best option. Maybe not the only option.
Best option.
There's other people that would have signed
him. Option.
But yeah,
Look
he's
here.
the best option.
They didn't even promote the Firm album. When I mean the Firm didn't promote the album, I mean the artist didn't promote the album, Dre didn't promote the album, Interscope didn't promote the album, and it still went platinum.
I remember when Firm Biz came out, MTV Jams was playing that.
That was
I
it.
think that the only East Coast guy that MTV was fully behind might have been LL in the 90s to that degree.
I don't even know if it was that, Mike, because to be honest with you, it's like they didn't play Hey Lover like that. They played Lounging.
I remember Hey Lover getting played. I remember doing it getting played a lot on MTV
Doing
jams
it and
too.
Lounging, though.
Yeah. LP with the super chat says M gets respect from legends. See how the DLC got M rapping his lyrics? Man was cheesing and running his head like he had a brain freeze. Okay, well, I think we do need to move on. Did y'all like the song? DeCarlo has another super chat. It says Detroit respects M. We don't like that he hasn't used his influence to highlight the artists that we celebrate, like the ones on Big Sean's Cypher track in Detroit too. That's all facts, except ask anyone from the D. I do want to know, like, as far as like, go ahead.
He went into a stratosphere so high and so fast and so rare that it shines a light on Detroit that was never there before. I'm going to tell you something that I know for a fact. When he dropped, I had never checked for a rapper out of Detroit before then, but I did after, because you know who he bought right after him? Royce. And here's where credibility is good. Well, Eminem didn't just come, but he bought Royce. And then I heard Royce, and I was like, oh, these Detroit niggas can rap, because I don't care what anybody says. In 1997, 98, 99, if you're hearing Eminem and Royce the 5'9" rap, you're like, no, we sleeping on Detroit.
Now, I liked Royce on Bad Meets Evil on the Slim Shady LP, but, you know, and I know this might have been the summer of 2000, but I feel like I heard Slum Village on some earlier shit, too. But maybe when I heard Slum Village, I connected that more with Detroit. I connected that more with Detroit. I'm going to be honest, man. When I heard the Slim Shady LP, I didn't really connect Eminem to a city, per se. You know what I'm saying? Right. I just knew he was, you know, Dre's guy and he could rap. But, yeah, I don't think I really connected him to a city like I connected, you know, Dilla and Slum Village to Detroit when I heard them.
I connected Royce to Detroit.
Okay.
And so when I
connected
heard Boom,
Royce to
M. I think Boom is 2000. Right?
Yeah, that's in the 2000s. Yeah, 2000.
Right. Boom is 2000. When I heard Boom, I'm like, nah, these Detroit niggas can rap.
Nah, I heard a lot of stuff before I heard Boom. I heard King of Kings.
Right. No, all that. But Boom was the moment, because that would think about it. This is 2000. He's from Detroit. He got a Primo track.
Yep.
That's what I mean about Detroit niggas can rap. Because here's how you looked at it if you weren't familiar. It's like this Detroit nigga that's tied to M is nice enough to get a beat from Primo. That meant something in 2000.
Well,
it's like, oh, he was nice enough to get a beat from Primo in 2000? It's like, oh, who is this cat? And then he got on the mic and performed, and it's like, no. Deserves to be on the mic.
I mean, when he was on Scary Movie, man, I'm one of them gritty rappers. But if I really have to, I really slap you. King of Detroit, who they naming the city after. Yeah, I like Royce off jump.
But did you understand, when he's rapping like that, how about this? The way Royce is rapping on the M joints early on before Boom, you hadn't heard Detroit niggas before outside of Detroit. And that's what I mean about the credibility. M was responsible for all of that.
He is. The Truist says drill music in Zion time. Go. Yes, we're going to get to that next week. I see a couple more super chats, and we're going to go ahead and switch over to this.
We got to go to another album.
Yeah, we got to go. DeCarlo says, Coop, please don't forget Obi Trice. He was dope, too. I like
Obi Trice's album, Cheers, is dope.
What did you think about that Snoop project? I guess a collaboration that came out today. It was Death Row in summertime. I think I got the cover right here. Yeah. Death Row Summer 2022.
Snoop has the game on lock right now, Mike.
I love what Snoop is doing, man.
He's got think about it. He owns Death Row, but he runs Def Jam.
Well, he got a position at Def Jam, yep.
Well, he's running a position running the division of Def Jam.
He's Snoop.
So I want to say this again. He's Snoop. There's only one person that's the author of 2 of the 10 greatest rap albums of all time. This is that guy. He's not, hold on, how about this? Lyrically, he's not Eminem, Nas, Rakim, Black. He's not, but he's the author of 2 of the 10 greatest rap albums of all time. But right now, Mike, he is literally running a division of the most important East Coast label that ever existed. And he literally owns the most important West Coast label that ever existed. And let me tell you what he is actually doing with that. You said that he is showing what an executive can do. Yeah. I actually want to take it.
What was that?
A level. You know, it's the summertime. You know, it's the summertime. You I'm in my basement. It's the summertime in the country in the sticks. It just stormed out here, so ain't no telling what's gonna fly in here.
Was it a bird or something?
I don't even know what that was, Mike. That's what I'm saying.
I just saw you jump. I was over here looking at the page.
Right.
Now that's gonna go viral. What that
was. It's probably gonna stay over there.
That's gonna go viral. Watch out down there.
I'm not afraid, Mike. My family been owning land since slavery ended. I done chopped the head off of snakes, hunted deer, drank water from a well. We from West Boulevard.
But yeah, anyway, you were saying that Snoop as an executive.
Snoop, what he has really proven to be, you talked about it on an executive level. I want to talk about it actually like a few steps down on the hierarchy. He's proven himself to be the best A&R in the game.
He found some really good talent. I mean, I feel like we've said all this stuff before because the last compilation he put out, we said the same stuff. Like October London is so dope. And when I saw LaToya Williams on here, I was like, yo, I've been wondering what LaToya Williams was, man.
So can we piggyback?
Incredible.
So I'm about to piggyback right off you, the way you piggyback off me. This is what I mean when I say he's the best A&R in the game. Because these artists I wasn't familiar with. But then I listened to Algorithm and I'm like, man, I need to check for these guys. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you when I realized he's the best A&R in the game right now. And he is truly trying to cultivate artists the way that Dr. Dre cultivated him. Mm-hmm. I want people to understand this. Deep Cover comes out like fall of 1991. You don't get Doggy Style until winter of 93.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 years of real actual label work and cultivation, specifically by Dr. Dre and the DOC. And what Snoop is really doing is for artists what got done for him. And so when I heard October London and LaToya Williams on the Mulholland Drive track, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Mike, that's my favorite song this year. I don't give a damn about no rap shit.
It's a beautiful record.
That is a beautiful record. That's the best song
When I saw them on the track list together, I almost just skipped right up to it because I know what they bring to the table. And I wasn't disappointed.
Right. And so hold on. I didn't know who October London was until Algorithm last year. And now I'm hearing him on these records and I'm like, I said, did October London and LaToya Williams just give me Marvin and Tammy vibes in 2022?
Yeah.
Did they give me
October
Marvin
London
and Tammy vibes in 2022?
Like
and then I said, where's this nigga project at? And that's when I realized this nigga Snoop done did his job because I'm asking about an artist project that I've only heard on your compilation albums that got released late last year and early this year. He's doing real A&R work and building a buzz for these artists the way it got built for him.
No,
the chick who did the reggae check, I'm checking for her too because I was checking for her on the last joint.
Uncle Chuck. I never heard of him. He brought like an old school vibe going on.
Hold on. What's her name? Jane Hancock.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she did the reggae joint, I'm like, oh, she flipping it now too, because for me, she was the highlight of the Algorithm album.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean about real A&R work. Because I've listened to Algorithm and because I've listened to the Death Row Summer 2022, I'm officially checking for these cats. And then he sprinkles in enough of the classics like he did on the previous one, like the Whoop De Whoop joint with Dog Pound and the Bad joint that's produced by Hit Boy.
Snoop knows how to put together projects, man. It's
Look
crazy.
here, when I heard the Hit Boy beat, I was like, Snoop's major.
Yeah.
Because if I was Nas and I was making KD3, I wouldn't let that beat outside my camp right now.
Brian with the super chat
I wouldn't
says,
let that beat outside right now.
Brian with the super chat says, I really want y'all to review Relapse one day. That's the album with by far the most Dr. Dre beats. Eminem's prime form on this album, career highs like Stay Wide Awake and Deja Vu. It's a cult classic. I'm going to go back and listen to it. I'm going to be fair, man. I know people think that, I be hard on M, but, pause. I'm just getting
Yo, people is in the chat clowning me because of that thing that buzzed by. I still don't know what the hell that was that buzzed by though, Mike. You understand that?
That's crazy.
I mean, people don't understand. Hold on. I want people to understand something that's not following us the way that they were following us a year ago. I had an episode last summer in this house where there were birds down here. And during an episode, I literally had to walk upstairs
and go outside.
And when I say walk, I mean run upstairs and have the rest of the podcast outside on the back steps of my porch and my patio outside. This is a true story. I live in the sticks.
Hudson
and there's like
says
a
we
vent
didn't.
right here. There's a vent literally right here where I do the podcast at. So like all type of stuff. Like, it's hot, Mike. We in the country, and so like shit be like flying in. And yes, nigga, I grew up around gunshots. So if anything buzzed by me and I don't got my pistol on me, damn right, we ducking, dodging, hiding.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I might be more scared of a bird than I am of a gunshot, and that's real. It's for real. Remember when Dave Chappelle made that comment about how like niggas is more scared of like mosquitoes and like flies than they are gunshots? No, that shit's real. Like niggas be shooting on the east side, I'd be like, oh, they're shooting from the west. We got about 10 minutes before we gotta go. Bird flying this motherfucker. I'm like, nigga, we got to be out. It's anarchy.
Creating a viral moment, man.
No, it's beautiful.
Hudson says that.
Make sure you put this moment on YouTube.
Hudson says that we didn't trash the Drake album enough. It really wasn't too much to go on, man. It's like,
I think
what needs to be put in perspective is just his overall status as a artist and as an MC in hip hop, because I think that he's overstated a lot when it comes to his MC ranking.
It was hard to take notes on the album because it was so poor. And I'm not joking or being facetious when I say that. It was really hard to take notes because it's like, well, if I take notes on this, it's going to seem like I'm kind of like sticking a knife in a dead horse. It's like, well, the horse already dead. It didn't already bled out. It's like, I don't need to stick the knife in. The album's not any good. And I'm not joking when I say this. He's got enough of a career and other things going on. Didn't this dude host the ESPYs?
That was a while back, but yeah, he's done it all. I mean,
no, he needs to get his LL Cool J on. You feel me?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I keep saying to say Wayne is the MC when people talk about Drake, and I'm like, why are y'all talking this way about Drake when Drake's not Wayne? Do you see the evidence that I'm talking about now? You hear how Wayne's been rhyming the last 2 years and how we're talking about this album, right? Because Wayne's the MC.
When you say that, I say they talk about him being a hit maker. I'm like, Future's the hit maker. And we're seeing that.
Well,
I'll double down on that notion.
Well, he can't go to Future. Well, he can't go to Future right now because he can't go to Thug, and we know how that looks.
Exactly.
And so, like, it looks like his well is a little dry.
Yeah.
But then you got somebody like Wayne that can get on tracks with AZ and Conway or whoever at will because he's the MC's MC. Even if you don't like the real G's, Moving Silence like the Zanya line, Wayne is the MC's MC, and he's the one that's really a top-notch all-time MC, not Drake. Drake's not a top-notch all-time MC.
Well, you brought up something interesting. Why can't Drake get on, like, I mean, because I thought him and Benny had a record, right? Like, why can't he get on, like, a West Side album or, you know, he is an MC, right?
He's not that on the mic. That's what I keep trying to say, because he's not that on the mic. He's never been that on the mic. Like, hold on. You see how Logic just called on AZ?
Mm-hmm.
You'll never see Drake call on AZ. That'll be embarrassing. You remember when Wayne did the Carter 4, all the interludes? No. Wayne cool with Tech N9ne and Andre and Nas and Bun and Buster.
See, Drake used to rap with Elzhi and them back in the day.
He can actually rap at that level. Right.
He's rhymed with Fonte and Elzhi back in the day, too. I don't know if it's one of those things, Drake.
Who?
Drake, you remember when Drake got on that Ninth Wonder track with Elzhi and Fonte?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Look it up on YouTube. I mean, but see, I don't know if it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I'm just so big now, I can't rap with other rappers. And I think that's a very dangerous place to be in. Because my favorite artist, Michael Jackson, was in that place where it was like, you're so isolated that, but you know what I'm talking about, how big he is. Like, Drake is huge. And I think Drake's so huge that he's isolated in a way where he's not, I don't want to say collaborating, but he don't know what's going on. Like this album.
He's so big. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just throw some things at you right quick, and you tell me how big he is.
Mm-hmm.
So there are these albums that came out. They're called King's Disease 1 and 2. And Nas is rapping with guys on there like Ace Boogie with the Hoodie and ASAP Ferg Is he too big to do things like that?
Yes.
Because Nas isn't.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so let me explain something to you. That's what's wrong with this conversation about how he gets placed. He's bigger than his skills.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne, however, can get on stuff like Do or Die 2. Do or Die 2, independent release.
Yep.
With Conway and AZ, and earn his stripes and respect as an MC. He can get on Bash Money on Hitler Wears Hermes 8. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the problem with Drake, because here's what I'm saying when I'm saying he's not Wayne. Everything that you just said about Drake, I can say about Wayne, but you can't say what I said about Wayne about Drake. And that's the problem. And that's why Drake's not all-time great.
What is
because
the
even
thing,
within
too?
your own camp, Wayne can do everything that you just did and work with those artists, but he can come back down here and do this super lyrical rap shit and excel at it. He's on Conway's album with Ross and with Ross too. On God Don't Make Mistakes. That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, he'll go do the joint.
This is the thing too, Coop. Even when Wayne was at his height, when he was the biggest artist in hip hop and moving 1 million in a week, he was still working with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a thing in hip hop where you can't get that big, where you're just. I mean, I think Jay and Drake are like the few that kind of do it in that way, and we don't even look at Snoop like that. And I feel like Snoop is probably the biggest hip-hop artist of all time, and he works with everybody. Eminem isolates himself too. I think Drake and Eminem isolate themselves the most. Jay-Z's just very selective about what he does, right? Because he basically calculates his steps where it's like, I want anything that I do to be a big moment. Andre is he does a little bit of that, but you might see him on some obscure artists', you know what I'm saying, music that you've never heard of. Johnson Daily Sports with Super Chat says, is Eminem all-time better than Wayne, Raekwon, Nas? I know the answer to the Nas question.
It's not better than any of those guys.
I think those guys have just done too much, you know? That's
what I keep trying to say is that when people talk about Drake, and it's like, why are y'all talking about Drake this way when you don't talk about Wayne this way?
Yeah.
Because Wayne has all the things that Drake has, but he has all the MC things that we like as well.
KD says
Drake don't got no Carter 2, Mike. He don't have no Money on My Mind or no Fireman or Mo Fire, or it's just like, man, this nigga rapping his ass off.
Right. And I think that's the problem.
Rapping his ass off. You hear this nigga rapping his ass off right now. Do you hear this nigga rapping his? Drake don't have nothing like that. We like this nigga rapping his ass off.
KD says, are y'all gonna review the Conway Big Ghost today? Yes, we'll talk about it now. Let's go ahead and go now. What did you think about it?
Thought it was excellent. I actually wish that the beats to this, first of all, I want to say beat-wise, I think this is the best job production-wise Big Ghost has done on a Conway joint. And I wish these beats were on God Don't Make Mistakes, because I feel like if some of these beats and some of these moments were on God Don't Make Mistakes, we'd have the album of the year.
Man, shout out to Conway putting in work like this, man. Like, I love what these guys do, man. These guys rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it. It's cool to, venture out and do this and that. But when you're trying to be the best MC in the game, and I think that this is a very interesting time where everybody's rapping and everybody's rapping at a high level. I think God Don't Make Mistakes was a dope album. He was a dope lyricist on it, and he approached things from a standpoint I didn't think he was going to approach it. And then he comes back with this. Now, I told you, when I listened to the Logic earlier, and, the Logic was hitting on all cylinders when it comes to everything on a technical level. And then I heard this, and I'm like, well, this is just a different kind of MC. And it made me think differently about how I wanted to rate.
It's that Scarface effect.
Yeah, it's like it made me think differently about how I wanted to rate the Logic, but I don't want to hold certain things against Logic that he can't help. Like you said, some of the things that make it where you don't feel Logic, it's nothing he could do about it.
No.
Like, I'm never going to be 6'6", you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I could do about that. You can't tell somebody, grow 6 inches. It's not going to happen.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I got a brother that's 6'9", Mike. When he walks into most places, he has to duck his head down. I'm never going to know what that feels like, although he explains to me how it affects his back and his posture all the time. And it's like, no, I get your pain. Never going to feel it. I'm not 6'9", nigga.
Billy Barr says Drake is the best Ja Rule. Okay. Blue Collar Hustle says
Still prefer
Drake's
Ja
not
Rule.
rhyming with those caliber rappers because Drake does not write his raps, and he's risking further exposure like Meek outed him.
That's why I keep bringing up the whole Quentin Miller thing and how he hadn't sounded the same since the Quentin Miller thing, and I don't like that.
Let me
It's
ask
not a
you
good
this
look.
straight up: do you think that Drake currently has help writing his raps?
No, because the music's not any good. That's what I mean about how it's very problematic. Because when you had help is when you were making your best shit, and when you were actually making your best stuff, you were too busy helping other people. And this is what I mean about being mindful about the company that you keep. Because when I listen to the Carter 3, I'm like, nah, Drake co-wrote that. That's why I like the Carter 2 more, because I feel like Wayne didn't have any real help on the Carter 2. Like on the Carter 1 and the Carter 3, I hear help. On the Carter 2, I hear Wayne.
LP's asking me why I'm trying to save Logic from his whiteness and not Eminem. I just think that
I
Logic
was
is.
wondering that too.
I think the Logic is rated properly. Like if people are out here talking about Logic is top 5 and this and that, then yeah, I might go in a little bit more. But I
Okay.
think that some of the things that we say about Logic are unfair based on where he's already rated. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's fair when you
Yeah.
say that. So to go to this Conway joint, it's only 10 tracks long.
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you something that I love about it. He's a great MC. Great MCs know how to pick up steam.
Yep.
This project picks up steam. The first 4 tracks are probably the weakest tracks. When you get to YBCM and you start rolling down, it's like it picks up steam and he steamrolls you. The highlight of the album, Scared to Death featuring Method Man. These 2 guys, I want to hear a 7 to 10 track EP from, because they sound good together. Because you want to know what? And Wu-Tang used to joke about this. Meth was always the superstar of Wu-Tang, but the other members used to always talk and be like, but he's the grimiest nigga in the crew, which is so funny that he's the biggest star. It's like, that's the nigga that's least likely to blow his nose, take a shower, get cleaned up for a interview. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's something about what Conway does, which I kind of which I would bring the equivalence to Prodigy to, where his griminess brings out the best in Meth.
Mm-hmm.
And Scared to Death, although it's not Lemon, it's only not Lemon because, well, Lemon was 2 of the best verses of both of their careers. And Scared to Death isn't. But that's about the only thing you can say about Scared to Death. It's one of the best rap songs this year. The Sunday Sermon joint with Jay Skis, where he's going back and forth. You want to know what I realized? Here's where the game is different. Do you remember when Jay and Beans are going back and forth on the Becoming on It's On?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is. And that's the record where I realized it's like, Beans is just as good as Jay. Like MC-wise, I don't know if he can write the songs that Jay can write, but
Right.
MC-wise, he's there with Jay. Here's what I realized.
I think Jay can meet him where he is too. But yeah, I feel you.
Right, but here's what I realized. Because of how the game goes now, you got to keep in mind, we watched that progression where Beans was rapping with Jay for about 2 or 3 years before he reached that level. Mm-hmm. Well, this level now, because of how much material you have to record and how they work, well, Jay Skis, in about 18 months' time, has done what it took Beans about 3 years to do, which is be able to rhyme with your top level counterpart on the back and forth to the point that there's no drop off when you pick it up. Mm-hmm. And that means this nigga Ski's been putting in work the same way Siegel was putting in work. Now, is Conway Jay? No. Is Skis Beans? Oh, hell no. But the work, Mike. I see the work when I heard that record. It's like, oh, no. I'm like, oh, you're getting stupid nice right now.
Ryan Gillum with the super chat.
You picking up Conway's words? Okay.
Ryan Gillum with the super chat says Drake responded to people hating his album. He says, all good if you don't like it. If you don't get it yet, excuse me. We'll wait for you to catch up. He must think he's Kendrick Lamar.
Can I say,
you know what? That is the excuse that people give if you don't like something. Like, oh yeah, you're just not on that level yet. Hold on, let me read the super chat and hold that thought real quick. KD says, Ghost is one of the most underrated producers ever. Do y'all know his story coming up as a blogger, Ghostface Troll?
Yes. Yes.
Rumor
I do.
is at Joe Button Fits on IG.
Yes. I've heard all of those things. And so here's another thing that I kind of want to bring up in all of this too, while we're talking about all this, is that, like, this is how you build out legacies as an MC. Like Conway on here, I mean, this guy is just special as an MC, Mike. And the specialty sometimes shows on projects like this, where I'm like, why don't you put some of this on your album?
I was going to ask you something real quick that kind of goes in line with that. Do you think that they possibly put out too much music? Because somebody's asked me that before. And I say that in the terms of, okay, let's just say you're going to make 3 albums in a year. But why not just not make 3 albums that year and put everything into that one effort?
I did not feel that way.
Okay.
Until this project. Because when I listen to God Don't Make Mistakes, there's about 6 or 7 tracks on there that are high-end album of the year material type of tracks to me. And the rest of the album is good, but not at that level. But then I go listen to something like this, and I'm like, the Why You Ain't Move on Me, Sunday Sermon, Scared to Death, Big Drum, YBCM. I'm like, man, you take those joints, take a few joints off God Don't Make Mistakes. I was like, we have the album of the year. And so I never felt that way before, because you have to understand, when we started doing this podcast,
it was good for us. It was exciting.
No, not even that. Well, you got to think about it. Within the first 6 months of them doing this podcast, well, Westside Gunn made Pray for Paris, and he made From a King to a God. That was April and August. And
well, so and Westside gave us 3 that year too, because Westside gave
No, I'm just talking about the high-end quality. Right, and so what I'm saying is that, well, we had no reason to ask for that for him, because if you look at where we started out the gate as far as reviewing these projects online live instead of writing the article, well, they delivered 2 of the 3 best albums that year.
Yeah.
And so even if you go to last year, it's like, well, all the stuff ranked again. Like La Maquina was still a top 10 album last year. I don't know if God Don't Make Mistakes is a top 10 album this year. And that's where I'm talking about, I'm going to sit up there and quibble, because here's the thing. Well, if you take this project and God Don't Make Mistakes and take the best of them and put them together, not only is it top 10, it's the album of the year. And so now I am going to question the volume at which they make stuff, because the volume at which they were making stuff before was still at an album of the year type of level. And that's one of the things that I noticed about God Don't Make Mistakes and Tana Talk Type 4. It was like, when y'all used to drop projects like this, it would carry more. But also, in fairness to him, like, are you familiar with Everything is Food? Like, that's Conway's throwaway series, where he literally takes his throwaways and has made them into a couple of projects.
Okay.
Like, I think these projects, these last 2, as in God Don't Make Mistakes and this one, are only a step above his throwaways. And
Miss Mo says she listens to Fly God every day.
What, the original Fly God?
I don't know if she just said Fly God. Hopefully she's talking about 3.
There's Fly God. There's Fly God is an awesome God. And then there's the Fly God that came out the year Pray for Paris came out, which is Fly God. That
was 3, right?
2.
That was 2. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
That's the one I like.
Yeah, that's what Jose Canseco.
Yeah, Jose Canseco's crazy.
I'm from the streets of Buster Brick, Nick. The shit ridiculous. Yeah.
All right,
Jose Canseco, you want to know what? Even for somebody that loves Stove the way that I do, hey, Mike, that Jose Canseco verse is special. I didn't even realize how special it was.
That made me stop and rewind. I mean, I think I found out about him, and I found out about Amani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I found out about. Well, actually, I think I don't know if you know this. We found out about Stove from somebody on the chat that said we needed to check out Stove the God Cook's Reasonable Drought,
Yep.
produced by Rock Marciano, because you made a comment about how Rock Marciano was one of your favorites. And they was like, oh, you like Rock, you need to check out Stove the God.
I remember.
Right. So somebody from this chat, and this is why hip-hop is beautiful, we're the ones that's supposed to be like authorizers and licensing and reviewing and all that. A nigga from the chat put us on Stove. Stove
we all learning from each other
the last 2 years.
Yeah, we all learning from each other. I think that's what's so dope about this platform and being able to do it in this way. But yeah, I mean, Griselda gave us a lot to go on, and they're still doing that. But I think at this point, and I get it at that pace that they were at that point, at this point, maybe try something different, slow it down, and put everything all into one. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, and a lot of people feel this way, and I hear this all the time. Oh, this is a Nas channel. This is a Nas fan channel. Like, for me, I'm always going to remember Griselda. Our start of this podcast, for me, started with them having their resurgence in their run. So I don't look at this as a Nas channel. I look at our run as we started when Griselda's run started coming up above the surface. They're the people that we've been documented. I think that in terms of how we archive it is going to matter the most because they haven't gotten their just due. Everybody knows Nas is one of the greatest MCs of all time. Even for how he gets treated in the media, everybody knows that. People don't know about Westside and Conway and Benny and Armani and Love, and stuff like they should. Even right now, they still don't know.
I think Griselda changed the pace and the tone for everybody. I mean, we can say whatever we want. Nas is Nas, but I think that KD2 and Magic
effect.
Pace, that's the Griselda effect. And we talk about Steph all the time and how he changes the game.
The KRS-One album that just came out.
Yeah.
The Locks
album, yep.
Yeah. These verses, all the competitive nature of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Ray and Ghost doing the verses. No,
Nas even stopped Conway and was like, "Yo, you're the one. Like, you that guy."
I told you.
They can see what's going on.
This is what I mean about how you have to document it properly. When Conway is doing that Drink Champs, when Nas is on the phone, and Nas points at him and doesn't say anything. This is what I mean. What Beans say on a Feeling in the Air, 85% of communication nonverbal. When Nas points at Conway, not when he says something, when he points at him, and you see the look on Conway's face, that's that feeling that I want every time people pull into this podcast. That's that real shit. That's that shit you can't create or duplicate. Fuck that other shit. He didn't have to say nothing to him. He just pointed at him and he looked, and Conway knew. And that was what Conway was waiting for. You feel me?
You're right.
As an MC, he was waiting for one of those guys to invite him into the circle. And so when Nas is pointing at him, it's like, welcome to the circle. If you listen to his album on God Don't Make Mistakes, when he does the lock and load with Benny Siegel, when the second joint, the tear gas joint with Wayne and Ross, the joint starts off, the excerpt says, he's one of us now. That's important to Conway, to be considered in that upper echelon where Wayne is,
where he earned
it is, where Nas is, where Ross is. No. That means something to him. So when Nas is pointing at him, that means more than a platinum plaque.
T Nitty with the super chat says, you need to check out Killer Priest. He dropped over 10 projects in the past.
Is there something else in here? Oh, shit, nigga. There might be something else in here. I just heard something move. I told you it's not safe down here.
Oh, my God. Well, we need to get up out of here. Get you to safety.
No, not yet. I mean, if something starts running at me, Mike, I got to start bringing my fucking pistol downstairs so I can deal with the animals in the basement.
T Nitty says, you need to check out Killer Priest's album. He dropped over 10 projects since 2020. And shout out to Clayton and Sleep with the $20 super chat. He says, Conway mentioned WWCD2 as a possibility in the interview. Would be dope. Much love and blessings to y'all. Fentanyl is my favorite beat in his catalog.
Oh, Fentanyl came off of Everybody Is Food. That's one of the Everybody Is Food joints. Fentanyl, yeah. I know what he's talking about too. That beat is banging.
Yeah.
I think that's the one where he talks about. No. I think that's the one where he talks about. I ain't put New York back up for. I ain't put New York in the back. I put Buffalo in the front, nigga. Like, yeah, he was talking on there. I remember what one he talking about.
I love what Conway's doing. I love what Westside's doing. I love what Benny's doing, man. They need to keep doing it, keep bringing that quality hip-hop, and then just they're rapping, man. And you're right, man. It's a different tone when you
It is.
hear them rhyme. And I heard that today when I um put on Conway's joint, man, and Big Ghost LTD. I was like, yeah, this is what a rapper sounds like to me. I know we all got different ears and all that, but yeah, to me, I'm like, okay. You know what? Before we get out of here, I was listening to Midnight Marauders yesterday.
Everybody's like Coop's bugging on the chat. It's like, no. I want y'all to come up here in the woods where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people understand it stormed up here. When it storms up here, it's like that gives license for all the animals to take rain like over the area. It's ridiculous.
I was listening to Midnight Marauders yesterday.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here. It's time to go.
Okay. Well, we'll get up out of here, but man, I was listening to Midnight Marauders yesterday, and those songs just sound so good. They don't have a timestamp on them. Like, you listen to Electric Relaxation and Award Tour, it's like, what year did these come out? You could just play that for anybody and be like, what year do you think this came out?
See, but here's the thing about it. It's also so special that it has a timestamp to it. You know what one of my memories of a war tour is? I moved to Charlotte that year from Atlanta. There used to be these two dudes on the bus, Carlos and Courtney. This is when you used to bring the boom boxes on the bus still.
Mm-hmm.
When a war tour came on, we're on the bus. We're riding from the south side of Charlotte, which is the rich side of town, to the west side of Charlotte, which is the poor side of town. We're going to Alexander Graham Middle School. But my memory of a war tour is when it came on the blue box. And Courtney and Carlos were in 9th grade. I was in 7th grade. They were big dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When the track came on, this is why the bus is moving. We riding up Billy Graham Parkway. These niggas got in the aisle and started dancing and had a whole dance step to it and was just gigging. And that's what hip hop was. It was like we was riding to the block. We was riding Boulevard Homes, Little Rock, up Billy Graham Parkway, headed towards West Boulevard. There's a boombox speaker. They got a war tour playing it. The nigga Carlos is in like some like Carl Kanai silk shirt with like the tan pants, like the whole vibe with the box. You feel what I'm saying? Courtney got the afro and like the FUBU t-shirt on with the Air Ones. You feel what I'm saying? It was just, and that's my vibe of a war tour. That's why it's one of my favorite hip hop songs ever, because it's like, no, that was my neighborhood. That was my block. That was us riding from school to West Boulevard, the hip hop vibe, the look, the aesthetic, the fashion, the boombox, the kids on the bus, it being hot. It was everything.
And that's soul.
It's hip hop. It's soul, Mike. It was
to bring
soul.
It all back around.
I still remember the dance move that they were doing, Mike, when they were breaking and then snapping and turning, and they were doing the shit in the aisles on the school bus. Like, you had to have soul to do that back then. They was like, no, fuck that. We dancing. And
LP says, gangster, hustler, and I still find time to kiss your mother. Steph Curry.
That's what happened to that boy, Pusha T.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's get up out of here, man. Everybody have a great weekend. Another great show. We had a whole lot to talk about. And I'm going to do some research for Wednesday because there's a lot of stories out there. I think we came to the same conclusion, but...
No, I think we came to the same conclusion. I said, I'm going to have to put like some shit down here and kill. We did this last summer. I'm not doing this in this crib again this summer.
Well, happy Father's Day to everybody out there. Happy Juneteenth to everybody out there as well. And shout out to Steph Curry. Happy for him and the Golden State Warriors.
Hold on. Can I shout out my kid right quick since it's Father's Day?
Go ahead.
My kid just got straight A's.
Well, congratulations. Great shit.
My kid just got a job at 15. My kid is about to step out into the garage in about 30 minutes and start whipping the Infinity 2 because she's driving too. When I'm saying Happy Father's Day, well, part of what makes Father's Day so sweet is because my kid is so special. I don't know what that noise was. It's time to throw up gang signs in the basement, Mike.
All right. Well, I'm going to holler at you, brother.
Throwing up gang signs in the basement.